Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the Douglas Conservation Commission meeting for Monday, December 4th, 2017. And first on the agenda is public hearing for 135 Webster Street. Eric Boyko.
Yep.
You here? Do you want to come up to the table? And we need the ad from the paper. Do you have that?
I have that.
And the
I have the mailings.
Mailing, yep.
Have the ad. It is right here.
Okay. Excellent. Yep.
And I also have right here. I have the abutters list that was given to me. To all 10 green cards, as well as the 10 mailing slips that went with them.
Okay, thank you. I'll read the ad. And Town Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for Eric Boyko on December 4th, 2017 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, MGL 131, Section 40. A proposed work location will be done on 135 Webster Street and involves construction of an attached garage. And if you could introduce yourself, please.
I'm Eric Boyko, resident Douglas.
Thank you. And if you want to open up your plan and show us what you want to do.
Yes,
and tell us.
So, my house was constructed in 2015. I believe construction started in April of 2015. It was finished in August. The original plans the original notice of intent was done in 2006, and as of last year, the final renewal on it had expired, which is why when I talked to Steve, he told me that I could file an abbreviated NOI for it.
This is just the house plan.
Yeah, where's the plot plan?
Do you have?
Oh, I don't have that. He didn't. He had mentioned that with the old one, it could be taken off of that.
Oh.
Sorry, that was just that's the only plan I have.
Okay.
Because everything's still the same. Oh, that one. Just scratch that. I have a copy of that. I apologize.
Good one.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I apologize.
Well, we got this one's highlighted and everything.
Colors.
I think this one's the exact same one.
Okay.
Actually, this one might be a little bit more.
Did you
blown
check
up.
on your DEP number before you left today?
No DEP.
No DEP, no.
As of this afternoon?
I didn't know that.
And did you know if they checked the building for it?
Yeah, she wrote on here, no DEP number
This
yet.
one's a little bit bigger of the plots.
Oh, that looks a little
yeah.
different.
That
That's
was
actually,
the one. That was the final that was given to me from for the old. That was the old DEP number. 0743.
They both be filed.
what's the date on the plan?
Lot 1
8/31?
and lot 2 are shown on there.
Yeah.
This is just the one lot.
Oh, okay, that's why.
So this has 2 lots.
This is my neighbor's house. That one's mine.
I think we'll go with this one.
Okay.
This is our
yeah.
original.
This was given to me by.
And this plan shows the garage, right?
Yes.
So you already had it under the original order?
Yes.
And you have right now your driveways in where it's located on this plan?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a space
Steve
for
took
the
some
garage?
pictures.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Dale Begma, who O'Hayward Homes, the gentleman who built my house, had done all that originally.
Okay. Stockpiling of materials.
All the original ones are still there.
So you probably won't be able to keep the material on site.
Okay.
So, because I don't think you're out of the, where's the?
Do you mean like the hay bales that were there?
No, the dirt that you would excavate out.
Okay.
For the
Stockpiling
foundation.
of the material.
Okay.
So you have a 200-foot riverfront area. Can you see what this is? So the wetland, the BBW is right here, the green. So this is
the floodplain.
Is this the 50?
I was just
Right
trying
here.
to figure that out.
Yeah,
NES?
52, yeah, so this is a 50. See that right there, that 52?
Yeah.
So from here to here is 52. So I'm thinking this is a 50.
Should say it somewhere.
Right here.
None of these are
What's
like
that
right,
say?
'cause you
50.
own them.
Yep, 50.
Green to orange is
Yeah.
50. So pretty much the whole entire garage is within the 50.
But it's something that was already permitted
outside of the
previously.
50. It's,
Right,
So,
so you already received a certificate of compliance for this? Oh,
That I do not know.
so you're gonna need to find that out first because we don't do double orders of conditions on properties. And if it's still open and active, and the garage was allowed under the original order, when was the original order issued?
That
You said
I don't. That I
2006?
don't know. I didn't do that. The original NOI was done in 2006. I don't know if that.
2006. And then it's good for 3 years. And then you fill into the Permanent Extension Act 2 times. 2009, 16, 15.
So if this is the 50,
that orange is the 50
oh, that.
from the
okay,
green
that would-
wetland. Ignore this is floodplain, not ignore it.
Yeah,
but-
we've got to get, I think, some clarification on open orders that allow the person to do what they're coming back to do. And I don't
So-
see it on our list for a request for a certificate.
Did you guys notice this is the natural heritage tri-habitat?
Yeah.
Do we, it's funny because it's a boundary line, so do we know if it's to the left or to, I would assume it's to the right, but
Yeah.
should we make that assumption?
Right here.
Right, but that's pointing to the line.
Oh,
That does not tell you which side of it. And so if the organism that they observed is over here in this wetland, it could be this side is priority habitat. So we need to know about this boundary. It might be up here.
Anything on your
Let me
notes?
see.
I would wonder if we have it in our power to just allow the activity under the original DEP number and then close it out once he does the garage. Condition it with reinstalling the erosion controls as previously approved. Instead of doing a brand new one.
well, I'm sure he's already filed with the DEP.
I know, but you can.
So then he'd still have an open DEP number.
Well, you can't have 2 orders.
But
Yeah, so
but
you're
right
wanting
now,
to close it.
we can't say for sure that the old one isn't closed yet. I don't know. Maybe it is still open. Maybe it's not.
Oh, okay.
How long ago did you buy the home?
I
or-
purchased the house in August of 2015.
Oh,
Do you have anything in your folder?
no, I just have today's filing,
Okay, so,
I think.
I would,
Ooh,
135. Yeah, 103 is on our discussion. So I think number 1, you need to see if you received a certificate of compliance, because there could be an order of conditions still recorded, this original approval. And then we need to close that out. You need your DP number, your new one,
Okay.
anyway, so we'd have to continue.
So,
I think-
and pretty much,
And then we need to know where this natural heritage and that conditioning on no stockpiling anywhere, because your septic is in the front too, so no stockpiling of materials. You're gonna do the hay bales, straw bales, and silt fence. So you've got hay bales on here. So we need to make sure that this plan is also accurate if you're gonna reuse this.
Actually, you want an as-built? To see if it actually
well, we'll
is
need
per
that
the plan?
to close the original plan, if it's not.
So that we can, before we make judgment calls about what he should or shouldn't do, we should see if it's actually where it is.
Well, the normal boilerplate things. I guess I was just trying to.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
Tell them.
are we gonna request an as-built before we?
What it says on for a request for certificate, yeah.
Oh,
I'm surprised.
No, I meant for this,
For the
this.
existing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
this DEP
for
number.
this proposal.
this proposal.
For the garage.
For this new proposal, just
The
for the
new,
garage.
yeah, for this new proposal.
We can't-
Do we want to use an old plan, or do we want to see how it actually ended up being built?
Well, if he has the new plan for the certificate of
Oh,
compliance.
for the certificate for the old one?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were saying
And
when
then
he asked
the
for a
next
certificate for the
step
new
would
one.
be,
Oh my God.
they can show proposed, existing, and then they
Totally.
show proposed, and then the erosion control and all that.
No, I'm with you.
So you basically want to see an as-built for the old order of conditions.
Yeah, you should have a septic as-built plan showing the existing foundation of your home and the septic system.
Okay.
And then we can use that to make sure that the home was built in this location,
Okay.
which the Board of Health will have a copy of it.
Okay.
And then we can make sure that the garage is no closer than what it's existing shown here.
Okay.
And Brandy had the question about the natural heritage endangered species overlay.
You need to know if it's north of this border or south of this border.
Okay.
What is this over here?
Another house and a
Yeah,
septic.
that's my neighbor's house.
It was the combo plan.
See, is there a lot line in there somewhere? Yes.
So it's
Right here.
The as-built from the Department of,
Board of Health.
from the Board of Health, or
Interesting lot.
Then you're doing straw bales,
okay.
silk fence.
Or straw wattles.
It's very close. You're within the, let's see, you're like the farthest away. The closest is probably 60. I mean, 40. 40 feet.
And it's only the garage, or is it this, you asked this already, but I'm sorry.
It's
is it this-
existing.
this
Right
is-
here is dirt.
Okay, so he's outside of the 50. So it wouldn't matter to me whether he uses.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Whether
yeah,
he uses
60.
wattles or straw.
So you
Okay.
can use
So
the
we'll
straw
just
wattles
Stick
also.
straw wattles.
Excuse me.
It's a very tiny little picture.
It's on the way to Webster.
Hence.
I think one of those is a log
Street.
cabin.
It's about a quarter mile before Cedar Street.
Yeah,
Little
he's-
ranches. Yeah, but the
One
garage
was a
under.
log cabin.
The other one has the garage under. Okay.
Any questions? Any more questions, board?
No. no
So we're
further.
going to continue this till our next
Audience.
meeting. Anybody in the audience have any questions? No? All right, so we have January 8th at 7 o'clock.
Sure. So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So you gotta get that request for a certificate if you don't have one
Okay.
recorded at the registry.
All right, I will get in touch with
And
them.
then you'll hopefully have a DEP number by January. As long as everyone's not on vacation still.
Perfect. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night. Okay, next we have a continuation of a public hearing for 294 Northwest Main Street. Donald Ferrino? Anybody here for that? Yeah, on the old one, let's see. I didn't write anything down.
We got the minutes, right? If it was from last time?
Yeah.
294 Northwest.
Heritage. What is that? Oh, that was the one on the res. December 14th for their ZBA. So I think we put them on and then just for any additional, maybe just a placeholder. Their ZBA meeting's the 14th.
So we needed to know the results.
Because we didn't know, we didn't have our schedule for next year. That's why we had to put them on for tonight. To continue to our next scheduled meeting, formally scheduled. That's what we did. I should remember. We didn't have our agenda. We couldn't put them past December 14th.
Well, Really?
Yes, we had to do a time certain, continue to a time certain for the public hearing.
So pretty much the reason we would have mentioned ZBA in this paragraph was because we always ask for the results of a
So we
ZBA
didn't,
first
we
before
didn't
we
vote,
close anything.
we didn't vote on our 2018 meeting schedule.
But it doesn't say that in here. I think it was because we didn't know the determination of ZBA yet.
But we would have scheduled it to after the meeting, the
Which would
ZBA
be
meeting.
January, which we didn't have the date yet, so okay.
And we didn't vote on it yet either, the meeting schedule, so we probably should vote on the meeting schedule, and then we can
At least Before we
continue.
need to do anything, yeah.
Oh, yeah, all right.
So do we?
So anyways, the point is
That
that they're not
sounds
gonna be
like
here
vaguely
tonight,
familiar.
right?
Right,
yeah.
they're not here.
So we'll
Okay.
need to continue it.
Right, so we need to vote on our meeting schedule for
So we can continue it.
2018, so that, yes.
Well, we've already continued one, so let's just continue this one. And then we'll vote on the meeting schedule.
Okay.
All right.
To,
Make a motion to continue 294 Northwest Main Street to January 8th at 7:15.
I second that magical date that doesn't exist yet.
Yeah. Okay. Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye. Everybody better vote for the meeting schedule. You know what, no. Not so much. I'm busy that night.
Okay, so let's do the meeting schedule, which is,
7:15.
everybody has one.
Yeah.
And I think it looks good.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to accept the meeting schedule for 2018 as written. Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you very much. Okay, so next. Oh, great. Time. All right, 7:15, we have a continuation public hearing for 30, 46, and 50 Southwest Main Street, Lawrence, Basile. And they have requested another continuance. Let me read what they say. They sent this to Steve on December 4th. Our client, Larry Basile, applicant, has asked us to do no further work, including attending meetings, as he continues to evaluate his options. Therefore, no one from our office will be attending tonight's meeting. If you have any questions, please contact Larry directly. He is also copied on this email. And it doesn't even ask that we continue it.
Oh.
It just says he's just not showing up.
Okay.
The applicant's representative,
So.
who is David Feist. So this looks like it's kind of escalating here.
Yeah.
Good way to put it. And I talked to the town administrator today because I talked to Bill Cundiff, and he was mentioning how they're thinking of using this drainage basin as part of the town's drainage ditch. So they went in and talked to the town administrator about doing this. And the town administrator asked me why we never issued a cease and desist in writing. And I said, well, we just told them to come in and file a notice of intent back in October for the next meeting, which they never did. If you
Right.
remember, we said we'd give them until tonight
Right.
to do that, to issue another fine. And reading back at the minutes from October, it said that they voluntarily ceased and desist. So we have never issued something legally. If this ever went to court, a judge is gonna say, doesn't seem like a big deal. You guys never even issued a cease and
For what?
desist.
A court for what?
He just kept
There was-
working.
There was no more activity, and
But
he
if-
has an open meeting in front of us, and that
But
includes
it's
that
not,
parcel.
yeah, but it doesn't include the work. He's in
And we
violation.
actually, well, we issued a fine that night.
But we never issued a cease and desist.
That's fine, because they were supposed to come up with a solution with the NOI. And we relied on their honesty to do that, and now,
It's been 2 meetings.
yes.
And
But
they
I don't
have
know what
it, in
the
the
judge
meetings,
thing
it
is.
said as long as he filed a notice of intent by the next meeting, which was last
Yeah,
meeting, and
so
they haven't
let's
done
issue
that.
Let's issue a cease and desist.
Okay.
Request him to appear at the next meeting. We'll continue his hearing to give him benefit of the doubt. He's gonna get a fine as well, as no activity's been done and there's no solution to the issue of what damage has been done or what material's been brought in and the filter fabric and all that disturbance. So do the formal order that we always do. That they were in front of us. They have
Yes.
a project that they want to do. I mean, they weren't going to go away. So it's the pond thing.
They actually, sounds like they actually may be going away. And-
Well, now we need to do something.
Right.
But at the time,
Right, so we need to,
they were very amenable to getting a
they
solution.
were that night, so this actually, we did say that if we didn't get a new notice of intent, that it would be a fine again, because we didn't have them remove anything from it, because we were waiting for their better option. So the fine was given up to that point, and we minimized it because of the potential for having them remove stuff later. Now that they have failed to offer any options to remove stuff, the fine is back on the table in terms of future fines, because there's still an impact of having all that crap in there. It's still in there. And it's not like this is a surprise. We told them, if you don't bring us a new plan, we will begin fining you. So they understand that, hopefully, but we should reiterate that, make sure they're very clear on that point.
So an official cease and desist, I'm just going over this before we vote on anything, and another $100 fine. I'm just writing this down so
I think
Maria,
we should do a $100 fine until they file.
Per day?
Yep. Because they've already gotten a month or whatever.
Yeah,
What was it?
that wetland has been impacted at least since, I'm looking at October 16, and that's a
Yeah.
continuation, so it had to be October 3rd.
November.
But
So-
no, I'm at October 16.
Yeah.
So it was before, this is a continuation, so
Oh,
it was
yeah.
before that.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was sometime earlier in
It
October.
was brought to our attention through the
Yeah.
INRAD.
So, I mean, we're talking possibly 2 months now that wetland has been
His
impacted.
contractor said he stopped. We did the summer, right? End of the summer?
Speroni.
Yeah. I don't know. The
He said he
timeline's
built
fuzzy.
the original pond in '08, and that he's,
Dug it out.
yes.
Okay.
And I did actually go and look on the GIS,
Yeah.
the old maps, and there was no pond there until pretty much to '08.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've spent consultant fees and everything that we take is very seriously. So I don't know what you mean by the judge saying. I think the cease and desist.
No, we
I mean,
need
he
to
wasn't doing
have a
any-
paper trail
Yeah.
tonight, I think, starting
Yes, I think
tonight.
that's a good idea.
Well,
All right, so does somebody want to make a motion
Wait.
to,
What is the fine for?
for
The
working
original?
in the wetland?
Yeah.
Well, not for working, that one we
Right.
already fined for, but now there's still the impacted wetland, because we have not gotten an alternative for removing the impact to the wetland. So it's the impact to the wetland still exists because we were supposed to, a month ago, have had a plan for how they were going to rectify the situation. So now the impacts are, we're going to start tailing again.
For failing to file. In other
yeah,
words.
I mean, they don't
Be
need to
clear.
file the full NOI yet, but to file a plan of action.
So let me read the minutes from October 16 for that 7:34 public hearing for Southwest Maine, 30, 46, and 50, and I'm going to skip right down to the relevant portion. If a notice of intent is not filed by November 13th, 2017, another violation will be issued and the applicant will be required to remove the sand and filter fabric. So that's why we're issuing a fine.
So as far as the per day, it needs to state that that fining will cease once we receive a plan of action, because they're gonna be non-reciprocal to anything. Oh yeah, we're ceasing desist. They're not even doing anything there. But we need to know what you're gonna do to remove it.
Until they file.
Yes.
not just the plan of action, we want them to legally file a notice of intent.
Okay. Because I did have, what was it, a month and 3/4?
Yeah.
About
Mm-hmm.
7 weeks.
Significantly past the
7
deadline
weeks to
date
file.
that they agreed to, and they agreed to that.
Okay, so the
So-
motion is to issue a fine of $100 per day until they file a notice of intent for the pond. And we need to issue a cease and desist for all activity.
So
Okay.
moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And, we need to continue this,
I
ANRAD.
was just going to.
Make a motion to continue the ANRAD public hearing for 30, 46, and 50 Southwest Main Street to January 8th at 7:30.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 7:30.
That's... All right. 7:30. Oh, it's not quite 7:30 yet. Let's see.
Town report?
Under discussion, we have somebody here for 71 Old Farm Road. Yes, why don't you come on up? We'll take you now. It wants a certificate of compliance. This is number 2 under discussion. Let's see, I have some pictures. Looking for a certificate of compliance.
I'm gonna abstain from this one. I'm not
okay.
technically in a butter, but I never went to go visit it when you guys did, so I haven't seen it. I haven't walked the property.
I don't believe I have either. Doesn't ring a bell
Who took
to
the
me.
pics?
Steve.
Steve was
Oh,
there.
Steve did
Steve
all
got
these
this.
last
But I thought
Saturday.
you guys were going on Saturday. Wasn't that what Maria's email was
No,
about?
I just went to the Chestnut Street one.
Oh, I thought everybody went.
one
Oh,
that's
okay.
on-
Because I was gonna say, I
right
didn't
on that
remember
river.
scheduling a Saturday site walk.
It was
now
not
you-
all these were all
Oh,
new.
well, then I feel better. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I had missed the whole site walk. All right.
No, it's just me and Steve.
One tough one there. Blurry.
Yeah.
You have the plan?
Yes. The 2 original copies of the engineer told me to bring 2 to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have the original plan? Didn't do an overlay, the as-built.
There's a title page if you want to pull it up, so you don't have to keep flipping back and forth. It's just if you wanted to read that. It's the same exact thing.
Oh, okay. Just a
I saw you
sketch-
flipping over,
It
so
says sketch plan, it doesn't say as-built, that's all.
Here's the final one that we issued way back when.
Okay. So closest points, 56 to CA 15. 55. Good.
So it's even further away.
Yeah. And then the retaining wall.
You've seen these, right?
46.
Mike, have you seen these? It's really well done. He got it from every angle.
and my wife sent me a picture of this car. Hey, whose car is this outside at 9:45 this morning?
Nothing creepy about that.
It looks pretty good.
Actually, we proposed here.
Nothing, it's already done.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, it says Boulder retaining wall. There.
Yeah, split rail fence. Hold the retaining wall right here.
Very nice.
So
Where is it on
it's a
here?
walkout.
Here,
split
well,
rail.
here's the retaining wall on one side.
No, that's the,
Bulkhead.
Here's a retaining wall here, and that's up there.
It's not really a retaining wall, it's two boulders that were placed there just because of the steepness of the grade. It's literally just two boulders. I don't know if you took any pictures of it, I could point it out to you if,
Is it,
it's not in the front, it's in the,
which side is it
it
on?
would be on the very back. It's not any of those, it's actually right around that corner. Actually, you can't see. It would be, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. It's, see that cooler? The cooler's sitting on top of one of those
Oh, okay.
boulders.
I think I saw a cooler.
That's just a
I
couple of
saw a cooler picture.
It's
New England potatoes.
It's two boulders with
Yeah.
this big, just to hold back
Oh,
some of
here
the
it
grade.
is, right here.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah, so that's what it is. Not necessarily.
Something to mow around.
Those two blue coolers are very effective.
I'll make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 71 Old Farm Road. I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye. Thank you for providing the as-built plan.
No problem.
That's great. I'll keep that.
Thank you.
Even though you don't call it that.
That's okay.
Excellent.
I'm not gonna split hairs.
Okay, thank you.
Not much.
So next step for me, I would assume pick something up from Maria
Well,
and go file it.
we have to sign the certificate of compliance, and
Okay.
then you can ask her for a copy.
Okay. Is
And
it something
then-
that I'm gonna have to take up to the registry of deeds
Yes.
and file just like I did with that Board of
They
Conditions?
record it.
Okay,
Yeah, the original you'll get.
okay,
Not a
perfect,
copy.
easy.
Thank you. That's it.
All right, thank you, have a good night. Happy holidays.
You too.
You too.
Okay, back to 7:30. We have a public hearing for 66 Southwest Main Street, Milton, Moda. Great. Okay. Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for Milton Moda, is that how you say it?
Yes.
On December 4th, 2017, at 7:30 in Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, MGL 131, Section 40. The proposed work location will be done on 66 Southwest Main Street and involves construction of a residential driveway with associated grading and utilities in the buffer zone of Morse Pond. Okay, if you could introduce yourself.
Eric Bissett with Heritage Design Group, and I'm here on behalf of Milton Moda. What we're proposing is a construction of a single-family house on 28 acres of land. This shows you the overall view of the property. It fronts on Morse Pond. It used to be Morse Pond Estates. There was, I think, 18 lots or so in here. What Mr. Moda wants to do is just build a house on the 28 acres on the single house. So, you know, already he's cut the trees for the driveway to get into the house, and then that's where he stopped. He hasn't done anything beyond that. We have submitted the plan to the Board of Health for the septic design. So this is where the house and the septic system and the well are proposed outside of the buffer zone. But the driveway to get to the house does go through the buffer zone, shown here in blue. We have two different buffer zones. One is for Morse Pond. There's the BVW for Morse Pond. It runs right along the edge of the pond. And then we have an isolated wetland between the pond and the road, closer to the pond. And so we are closer to the isolated wetland, further away from the Morse Pond wetland. So what we're proposing is the installation of erosion control barriers all along the edge of the proposed driveway within the buffer zone. So it would be through this stretch right here.
Where is the isolated getting fed from? It looks like all upland trees and pines and...
Yeah, I think it's just an excavation. I think it's an old building foundation, is what I was told. It was an old barn there.
And you saw hydric soils there? Who flagged it?
This would have been, this was Scott Jordan from Ecotech. So I'd have to look up the specifics of that, but I don't,
What's the proposed distance from the isolated wetland to the edge of the drive? Is it like
0.
4 feet, 2 feet.
Yeah, it's about, looks like it's less than 10 feet to the erosion control barriers. The driveway itself would be about 15 feet away.
It looks like all upland, and have you seen any water, standing water in there?
I have not, but I've only been there once, so.
When you were there was nothing?
Yeah.
I
It might
was
even be
somewhat
a-
curious.
It might be a vernal pool, and it's dried up by now. I mean, we don't
Well,
know.
I'm looking at the picture.
Is there
so-
anything there? Well,
I don't
it
see
might
anything from the
pond
picture.
in the spring.
You can't tell a vernal pool in the fall. You can't, it looks just like covered with leaves like any
Yeah.
other little divot. Vernal pools don't have any vegetation that you're gonna see at this time of year, and there's no vegetation, it's water. So that, I mean, that's a good point, it could be, but 15 feet away, that's enough room with the proper erosion controls. I don't see a problem.
Yeah, we're not proposing to alter it or fill it in, we're just,
Close.
Driving
Yeah.
by it.
See any little fairy shrimp in there?
And also, the DEP had no comments, so the issue is they owe taxes. So we can't not issue any permits until the tax is paid.
okay.
We received a letter from the treasurer that there's some kind
An
of a
agreement.
payment agreements with her or something like that. So until we receive that. Board have any other questions?
No.
Anybody in the audience?
Yes, I do.
Could you state your name, please, and address?
Robert Campbell, 62 Southwest Main. I live right alongside the road leading that they butchered in there, right? There's now a problem with the water coming down the street, coming in across his property, and then coming into my land and flooding me.
Is it, so it's coming off of
Where
his
62
property?
South-
Southwest Main Street, where they cut that road in. There's no hump, there's no berm, there's nothing. They broke through. The water comes down now from the top of Southwest Main, down the road, cuts in there. The superintendent, I went and I got him and I showed him. He put up that round bale
Yeah,
and he put crushed stone
okay.
and he drove stakes 5 feet apart.
The highway department?
Excuse me?
The highway department?
Yes.
Okay.
Which stopped the water the last little rain. But then somebody come in and they got a sign there that says 66 showing the address. Pulled the stakes out, stuck them in the hay bale so whoever goes by looking for 66 would see it. All right? Now that's caved in a little. The water again, and we got rain coming when? Tuesday? Wednesday? They got to do something there.
Okay.
They're going to go in and cut a road in. That road, how wide is it? It's a driveway. How wide is that driveway?
18, 16.
About
How wide?
16 feet.
16?
16 feet. All right, 16 feet. I'm 6 feet below the top of their road, which is sloping this way. He's got to do something there for drainage. A retention pond or something. He's got to do something. He's got to do something in the beginning of that project where he busted into that road.
So where are you? Are you on
Yeah.
this side?
I thought it was
I'm right
on the side.
alongside the road from Southwest Maine.
Well, there are
Southwest
several
Main,
lots.
Left or right?
Yeah, he's-
On
he's
Southwest.
on the
I
side.
can't
The
see that.
water
Southwest
flows down the
Main.
road this way.
From the road.
And then it was coming in through here. I think what the DPW did, fix the problem temporarily.
Temporary.
So you do need to pull a driveway permit for the curb cut anyway.
Right.
So you're gonna have to have requirements to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, and
Right, you go down there and you can see the water where it comes right through from the top of Southwest Maine. That's a lot of water coming down through.
so,
And then if it goes down my driveway, it's going into the garage. and then it goes down into the other basement. I mean, there's been no thought,
So where are we at in the
Nothing
process? What are they doing tonight? Is this just getting us up to speed,
driveway.
or is this specifically for?
The driveway.
Okay, so this is a request.
Actually,
I know why.
the part that we have jurisdiction over is, this is the 100-foot.
Yes.
Right?
Correct.
So that's outside of our jurisdiction.
yeah.
So that would be something,
Highway department.
highway department, you
Building
could
department.
talk to them, or the building department,
And
but we don't have any jurisdiction over that. Or you could contact these people and ask them to make a resolution.
But you're saying they have to get a permit for cutting into the driveway
Oh,
into the
really?
road?
Yeah.
And have they done that yet?
Not yet. We
You
did-
only have to do that, what, when you actually pave it?
Apply for a permit.
No, they actually were given at one of our meetings, they did come in and they had stopped working because they had clear cut. A lot.
Well, wait a second, I'm still trying to get to the driveway permit, which is not from us.
From building department.
But
So when
when
you
do they
file
need
for
to
the
do that?
house, usually you file a building permit and then you have a new driveway curb cut opening like we did on,
Right, but are you allowed
Good
to cut it before you, so it's an unpermitted driveway cut?
Yeah, they haven't.
the access.
They haven't constructed the driveway yet. All they did was go in and clear
But
the
if there was
trees.
But does
Material
that
that-
count as breach
Yeah,
of
they-
permit? Does the permit care about whether it's a paved driveway or
Yeah.
flattened
Cares
or
if
leveled or?
material are going from the private property to the street, pretty much is why, you know, you drive by and there's like dirt and gravel and stuff going into the public
Right.
way. This,
But at
they've
what
altered the water here.
Yeah, but at what point does the building department consider it a breach of permit that they should have already had a
When they
permit?
file for the house usually. If you have some activity there.
Yeah,
then
how
you
much
should be-
activity is considered a breach of not having a permit?
When you gain access to the lot from the
So
public
they already
way.
are in
Yeah.
breach of that.
Yeah. Nothing was existing there, then they just removed the trees and
Yeah, they haven't.
whatever.
They haven't built a road or anything. All they did was cut. They just went in and cut
cut the
trees.
trees only
Yeah, if you look in there, you can
with
just see
heavy
stumps.
equipment? Okay.
Because it looks like here, this is where the erosion control is
So they haven't
all
disturbed
staked,
the
and that
ground
looks
at
like it's
all.
all wet behind
Yeah.
there, for some reason, doesn't it?
It looks like erosion, yeah. Looks like there's
And it's kind of shiny.
I don't know.
We
I haven't paid attention
Yeah.
when I've driven by.
we did speak with the town engineer about it, and his concern was that the water was coming in there now, as he stated, so we agreed to work with the owner and try and construct some sort of a berm there to keep the water going down the road as it goes along the front of this property here. I know it's not in your jurisdiction, but it is probably gonna come up when we apply for the driveway permit, so.
Yeah, I mean,
But not until then? Or are they gonna do something immediately? When you said you,
We can ask him, you know,
Yeah.
I'd like to say, yeah, we'll do it, but we have to talk to the owner and just convey that to him that it should be done now.
so when you drove to this site, you drove your car into the lot though?
No,
No.
I've just driven past it a couple of times
Oh.
since the DPW
You
put
didn't
up.
go there.
Yeah, well, the
So this
barriers
looks
are rough
like
now, so you can't.
This opening, this picture right here, looks as though the soil's disturbed at the entrance there.
That's where the town staked.
And then
looks
behind it,
Yeah, see, this is
Yeah,
all I
there's a
saw
lot
here
of
was
rutting here.
was the stumps
Yeah.
and everything.
no,
I
there's a
didn't-
lot going on
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
it's all
all right.
disturbed. So that
Yeah,
needs.
I didn't go past it until after this, so.
I'd say if there's no resolution with that, I mean, we can't do anything about it.
If you want to contact the town engineer, Bill Cundiff, and he's in the Community Development Department next door here, he might be able to point you in the right direction on how to stop this from affecting your property, because it is a driveway cut, and it is Highway Department that will look at this. And I'm sure they would ask Mr. Cundiff, gee, you know, we need some type of either a basin here, or
But should he notify the building department that there's been a driveway cut without a permit?
Usually it goes to highway, they sign
Oh,
off
they-
on that. But you typically have it as a one packet.
Right, so I'm saying though, at some point, should those offices be aware that this work has
well,
been
that's
done
why I'm
without
saying
that?
he should
Yeah.
go into the Community Development Department. That's the first step.
And
And
I'm
then
sure Highway knows.
Bill Cundiff will
Yeah, it was kind
send
of-
him in the right direction. I mean, we do have a building department, but they don't authorize the driveway.
Okay.
That's highway.
That's highway, all right.
But at least Mr. Coniff will be made aware of it. There's an issue here.
Remember Gilboa, how we did that driveway cut? And they weighed in on what they wanted to see there, same thing. Okay.
Okay, so, okay? You can go
Okay,
to
I guess so.
Community development. All right, so this is outside of our jurisdiction.
Okay, all right.
All right. Anybody else in the audience have any questions? All right, so we need to continue this until we get something on those taxes.
Okay.
7:45?
Yes.
Can I do that? Make a motion to continue the public hearing for 66 Southwest Main Street to January 8th at 7:45 PM.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great.
Okay,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you.
I'll see you then.
Thank you. We passed over your other one, right?
This one?
The,
Oh,
Northwest?
Yeah, that'll be next month, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be back.
We got you on at 7:15.
Oh, okay, good.
How much did they get fined for that one?
I don't remember. I think it was, we were unclear. We thought that they didn't go within the buffer.
Interesting.
And, because Steve went out there and he said, no, it wasn't closed, but,
Maybe because that, he didn't know that that was a isolated wetland.
yeah,
Yeah, because it did look outside of the pond.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have a continuation of a public hearing for 58 Chestnut Street, Alfred DePrado.
Maybe.
Nope.
It's going that way.
Before I
Hello.
decide where to put this, is anyone here interested in 58 Chestnut Street? If they're still okay, I'm gonna lay it on the table so you can see it better.
Okay, go for it.
Good evening, my name's Norman Hill. I'm an engineer with the company of Land Planning. And we made some changes to these plans since you last saw them.
Oh, Lord.
We added a slurry pit for the well. We added a second row of siltation control. We added the riverfront area calculations. So the lot area is almost 115,000 square feet. Riverfront is the same because the entire lot's on the riverfront. The area of alteration is 9,418 square feet. The proposed alteration, 9,400. So the percentage is 8.2. I thought it would be greater than 10, but it's not. It's only 8.2, which is nice. I know.
Lucky.
I know. Some other changes. We added these notes regarding the regulatory notes, regarding section 1057. 1057, for the most part, refers to doing work within land that's subject to flooding. We're not proposing any work in an area that's subject to flooding. So that's how we address 1057. 1058 has to do with alternatives, economical, practical, alternatives, practicable. That's a nice word, practicable.
Practicable. Practicable.
Don't ask me to
I
say
haven't said
that.
that in a few years.
And so what I like to point out is many things. First of all, we put in a small house. It's 24 by 36. It's not a large house. It's only 3 bedrooms, which leads to a small septic system. We've tucked everything up in the northeast corner of the property, squeezed it up tight, and we've limited the yard. There's very little yard. We've got a retaining wall here and very little yard. So it's almost no yard. This is going to be hopefully for an elderly couple or a young couple, and 1-car garage, almost no yard. So we minimize the impact as best we can, plus we provided a retaining wall to limit the impact as well. There's no work proposed within your 25-foot buffer. No wetlands would be disturbed, and no riverfront, the river or the river banks won't be disturbed, nor the wetlands that surround the riverfront. So I could read to you this note, because it speaks to a number of the issues that are in the act. Let me just read this without going too fast. Please note that the proposed riverfront area percentage of the alteration is 8.2%. Also note that this lot was created and recorded prior to August 7th, 1996. The plan of record was recorded at the Woodruff Registry of Deeds in Book 45878 on December 7th, 1978. So it's one of these grandfather lots that was done before the Riverfront Act existed. Also, please note that we've designed this house location to minimize the effects within the riverfront area. The house and septic are as small as practicable. is that word again. The proposed house includes 3 bedrooms and a 24 by 36 foundation. The house and septic have been located at the high ground in the northeast corner of the lot. No wetlands are to be disturbed, and the river is not to be disturbed. This house site is the only possible house site that does not alter the wetlands of the river. If we put a house anywhere else on this lot, we're going to be altering wetlands in the river. We don't want to do that. That's the worst case for resource areas. Any other economical, practicable alternative location for the house would result in wetland alteration and more riverfront alteration. We believe this design complies with 310 CMR Section 1058 4D3. Now, I had given you copies of that Section 4D3 earlier. And well, first let me give you a copy of the plan. This is the plan that's on record. It went on record in 1978. And
Did DEP update their response, the comments at all?
I haven't received anything else from them.
But you
Have you,
sent in the
have
thing?
you
Yeah,
sent stuff in?
I have, yeah, I sent the, this is, I think this is our 4th meeting. Each meeting, what I give you, whatever I give you, I give it to them as well.
Okay, but you haven't heard one thing from them?
No, nothing since the first response.
I would like to make sure that they think that all of his findings comply with what they commented on. I don't know if they don't change, I don't believe they change the comments online.
Their big comment had to do with the flood zone.
Yeah, and the determination.
We used the recommendation that they had suggested. We did the cross-section surveys and the calculations, and we've come up with a flood zone that's this purple. Whereas the federal government has the flood zone here, so we actually come up the hill quite higher with our calculations, but still, we're not threatening the proposed work with that flood zone. So they said that we should really calculate the flood zone, which we've done, and we used the method that they recommended. So I believe that they would be, I'm surprised they haven't sent you a new memo saying, yeah, we've taken care of the flood zone issue, because that was their big concern.
We did take some pictures. I went out on the sidewalk on Saturday, and that's a house corner, and that's the brook, which is, it is so flat there.
Right there.
And what's the closest distance?
I think 25 feet.
We need,
Well, to the
limit of
control.
disturbance? Okay.
Yeah, to the building itself, probably 32 feet.
And that brook is not even flowing much. I mean, you can imagine what it's going to be like in the spring. To me, it looks like where I was standing is floodplain. I mean, because it's, the bank is right there, and it's flat.
Which one's the lot line, please?
The lot line is the stone wall up here.
And that's a house corner.
that's
That's not even the
over here.
stone wall corner.
Well, the erosion control is beyond that?
That's right, because that was staked, house corner, right on that stake.
Yeah, we went out, we staked out the house corners, this retaining wall, and the limit of work.
I mean, personally, I would like to get a second opinion on how, even though it doesn't look like it would be wetland soils, it's not wet now. I mean, that's awfully close to that stream, and it's very flat. I mean, I could see if the bankings were like this,
If there's a slope, right?
Well, there is a high hill here. The house is almost up on top of the hill.
but I'm standing at the stake where the corner is.
So the house is not on that much of a hill. If she's standing right here, she's looking right at it there.
If you look at the elevations, the cellar floor is going to be at 489.5. And the brook down here is at 482. So the cellar floor is 7.5 feet higher than the brook. Now, I'm not going to dispute the fact that this brook floods over its banks in the spring. You can see how it floods over its banks in the spring. And if I was out there last spring, and I could see where it had actually flooded up into here.
So you're right, when you're standing at this corner and you see the erosion control, it's actually flooding to like about
7 feet away?
7 feet away from you.
Yes, right up to that hay bale. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. But the home will remain high and dry because it's 7.5 feet high. The flood goes up to 484. We've got the house 5.5 feet higher than the 100-year flood. That's a lot. That's just the cellar floor. So then the house is another 7.5 to 8 feet higher than that. But the cellar floor,
What's the top of concrete?
So,
Top of foundation?
497,
497?
yeah.
And this is 484?
84, yeah, it's 13 feet.
Well, we've had much less sensitive
Yeah.
sites where we've asked people to put in some kind of fencing or some kind of, preventing any kind of.
Well, he has it planned, doesn't he? This little
Is there something in
thing?
front of the limit of work?
Split
What's
rail?
the little dot, dot, dot?
Well, that's just a fence there, but that's to prevent future owners from,
Yeah, that's
No,
what
that's
she's
what I'm
talking
asking.
oh, okay.
about. You
yeah.
guys are on the
Okay.
same page. you
That's
know
what I'm
I mean?
asking.
'Cause people like to-
My question is this high and dry?
It is. It won't flood
I mean, it
above
looks at, right now,
Well,
But we're in a drought
100-year
situation.
flood. Well, we're going off the 100-year flood limit. They are set, they got 7 feet to play with.
but is that wetland delineation correct?
Well, he's saying that he used the DEP
I'm not talking about
requested.
flood zones, I'm not
Oh,
talking
what are you-
about
what are you
bank,
talking
I'm
about?
talking about wetland. Not river, just wetland. Is this a wetland or not? I mean, it's like level with the river.
It's not, some places, it's over here,
I
it's
mean,
more level,
let's-
but it
So
comes
you
up
did
hill
some
here.
soil testing along here, right?
Yes, yes. And it's oak, it's all hardwood oak through here. The overstory is all oak. That's the dominant plant.
I see birch in here.
I'm just curious, so I'm sure there's reason, rationale, but just humor me for a moment. Could this house be shimmied here?
No, you see, the minimum setback is 20 feet, and we've got exactly 20 feet off the center line of the
So
stone
we could
wall.
ask for an exemption on that if we were to say that there's
It's
almost,
25 from the side.
I'm sorry, that's the minimum zoning setback. We've got it set at the minimum zoning setback.
but can't you, we've had people get exemptions
That's for
from that
the-
before,
That's for the
right?
tank.
Tank's 10 feet
And the
away,
reason I'm
that's minimum
asking
for the
is
tank.
because if this is our bylaw, the 50-foot setback here. So I feel, and when we asked for the alternatives analysis, we're really talking about, could you show us whether or not the house can fit outside of the 25 with a setback exemption, which we've had applicants get before by asking planning, zoning, thank you. And that was really the alternatives analysis, because we have a bylaw that says no build past 50. And so that's really the alternative that we're asking for, is show us that whether or not this can be put outside the 50, right up along the property line.
Very first meeting, you suggested
Yes.
that, and I turned to my client and I said, what do you think? He said, I don't want to do that. Fred said,
Is that
"I don't-"
But that's not an
Practical
alternatives
alternative.
analysis. An alternatives analysis is not, I don't want to do that. It's if I do that, here's how much it'll cost me, or here's the impacts of that. It's not, I just don't want
I
to.
know, but see, anything close to that is illegal, so.
Well,
we've
anything
done the
in here
minimum.
technically is illegal as well, because we have a bylaw. So, I
Yeah.
mean, it works both ways.
Yeah, I've asked you to wait.
You
for
can
that.
get an
Yeah.
exemption, and that's all we're asking. We're not asking you to break the law. We're asking you to ask zoning if they would provide it. Now, if you came back to us and said, we created this alternatives that you've asked for, we presented it to zoning,
said no.
and they said, hell no. Then we would go, oh, well, then we probably need to make an exemption on our 50-foot bylaw. But you haven't made that effort yet, which was asked from the very first meeting.
I know, and I asked him, he said he didn't want to do that.
But that would make his life easier, because he could present to us that it was refused, that they had tried an alternative. So you have not done everything, what's our favorite word? Practicable? You actually have not attempted everything practicable. I didn't get it the second time.
That's okay.
And plus, the house could be made smaller. You could go 24 by 24, no garage. We've had other people, like one on
That
Martin
is a
Road, it's a
garage.
very
Garage,
tiny
it's a
house,
garage.
but it's 2.5 stories. And it's a 3-bedroom. I
Go
mean,
3 stories, go crazy. Let me just check on a couple of these things. You may have already said this, so I apologize in advance if I missed it early on, because I was making sure I had everything on my list. So, Board of Health approval, yes or no?
Haven't heard back from July.
Okay, that's a no. We've just discussed the 50-foot no build, and you have not asked for an exemption from zoning. I heard you talking about the section 1057 and 1058. Did you also have a response for the section 1056? I might have missed that.
I didn't respond to 1056.
So that was asked to add a narrative to the plan describing how he meets criteria under the 1056, 57, and 58. So we still need that. So no. And did you provide a construction sequence?
Yes,
Maybe you said that already.
I'm sorry, I didn't mention it.
Oh.
It has to be in the plan. That this way. Construction sequence is here.
Great. Siltation controls inspected, clear trees and stump, rough-in driveway, to the well, dig slurry pit, well drilled, excavate foundation, retain walls, install foundation subterranean, backfill foundation, install septic, finish grade, paved drive. Finish grade, loam, seagrass. Fence, nice. Notify, looks very nice.
Kind of between a rock and a hard spot. My client doesn't want me to apply for a ZBA variance. He's pretty sure he's not going to grant it. He said he's been down that road several times before, and he said no each time.
Why don't you explain to him that that's going to allow us to move forward? That actually,
I did
to
say
act,
that
you
him
know,
that
to
night. Yeah.
allow us to do our procedure would be for him to finish his end of it, and then we can move forward. But otherwise, you're asking us to approve something that all alternatives have not been exhausted. All he has to do is demonstrate that those have been exhausted, and then we can help them. So tell him tell him to help us help him.
Because we haven't been given one alternative.
Have you seen the town you say you have seen the ZBA get granted side yard setback?
Yeah, I have in my
Variance.
tenure on
Right.
Concom. Not all the time, but I have seen it.
And
And even if they refuse them, tell them that's okay, because then we can work on our
What do you
end.
suggest we ask for, like a 10-foot instead of...
Without a go.
This,
That, you've got to figure that
the
out.
side yard is
25.
25. Have they granted it as close as 10 feet, you know, or 15
Yeah.
feet? Yeah.
And besides,
We
that's
have to
really
leave room
not
for the
the,
septic tank here, so I put the house right up against the... We have to get a Title V waiver as well. Because the septic tank has to be 10 feet from the sideline and 10 feet from the foundation. So we'd have to get a waiver from the Board of Health too. Because if we move the house this way, it gets closer to the septic tank. Or the septic tank gets closer to the property line. So we have that issue as well.
the key is to demonstrate that those exemptions would not be provided. And if you can demonstrate that, then we have to find all the, then you're right, you've run out of alternatives. And that's the point you're trying to make anyways.
And I would like a correspondence back from DEP.
I can't guarantee you that. They're understaffed. I can try.
This is pretty, complex. Or we can do the outside consultant. So if Linda's saying, she's not sure, I'm
I'll
looking
try.
at her standing there, so I need to
I'll
make
try.
sure that that's,
I'll try and contact.
And even from
that
here to
line isn't
here.
over here.
Yeah, because like Steve's up by the street,
Yeah,
and it's flat,
yeah.
the stream is right there.
It is definitely wet in here. That's flag, It's flat in there. There's quite a hill here.
Where's the hill? She
Yeah.
keeps saying it's
Oh, top-
flat.
The top of the hill is right
Here
here.
to
Here's the top of the hill right here. So that's elevation
484. Where's the next line? Right here?
46,
486?
490.
Here to
490.
here is 2 feet.
I know, but then you go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 feet.
So that's not where she's standing. That's not where her questioning is.
See where I'm standing? And Steve's like kind of up by the street.
That's the corner, and then I did see the erosion control staked on one of the pictures.
Well, those are house corners.
Yeah, it is.
They're
it
kinda
is-
saying
it is
this is
from-
flat.
It is.
That's what her concern is, right? You don't mean to talk for you.
But the bank,
Yep.
the bank is a good 2 to 3 feet tall.
The 2 to 3 feet what?
Tall,
Tall?
the bank of the river.
Yes, but it's also very low.
The flow, I
that's-
thought was low.
I know, but my point is it's not unusual to see wetlands flags along near the bank of the river when you have a tall bank. Because the land up here is dry and the water's 2 or 3 feet below the dry land.
right at this moment, but it could be flush with the top of the bank.
In fact,
There's high
It
flow
would be in the
times.
spring, it would be in the.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Steve had mentioned
No
to me,
slope.
we might want to contact the highway superintendent, because he had heard in the past that this brook does overflow the road.
Yeah, we've actually shown that it does. We've calculated the flood, it does go over the road down here.
So if it's overflowing the road itself,
It does.
it means, I mean,
And
just because
what's
it's low now,
this
that,
elevation?
this to me is all floodplain.
We didn't
that
grab
really
anything from the
cranks.
street, right? Elevation at 492 when it's flooding in the street.
Yes. But then this is much lower.
But then it's gonna back up as it hits this corner and go,
There's nothing to cause it to back up.
that's why it's all flat
There's
there.
nothing to cause it to back up.
Okay.
So it's, all right, so,
I did have one more. Sorry. And you may have already addressed this again, I apologize if so. Ms. Sharkey asked to see the reference in the regulation that allows the floodplain to be adjusted.
If you look at the DEP letter, it references the section of the law that they asked us to use to calculate the floodplain. So you weren't here at the last meeting, but we spent some time on this at the last meeting.
Well, this is from the last meeting's minutes, which means it was at the last meeting that Ms. Sharkey asked for this reference. So she's just asking for the reference in the regulation.
Yeah, here's the regulation.
So you can present it to her.
Yeah, but I did.
I
did.
think I was, for FEMA purposes, I think it was, he was trying to say he was adjusting it. Either way, if it adjusted the opposite direction, then I would probably have more of an issue with it. But now it's, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm
they, well,
As long
I
as
don't
you're
really-
satisfied is all that matters.
they're not going to go with this flood line for anything. FEMA will not go with it. No one's gonna. This isn't put in place for any purposes other than this home. As far as like, say the floodplain was over
Yeah.
here, it's not adjusted on the maps. There's no map amendment on this. He's just calculated it and used. I forget what they had said.
Federal government had it down here, and we brought it closer,
Yeah,
based on this
a
method.
guide for obtaining and developing base flood elevations.
About a 2,000-page manual. We followed that procedure.
So I think I was just trying to clarify that that is actually not edited. That line is not edited for FEMA purposes.
Okay.
But
I'm
that
just
was-
pointing, I don't need this reference, you do.
Oh, okay.
So,
That was the issue, what if there's now two definitions of the floodplain?
Yes.
And
Why would we trust a calculation?
and this is the not legal one.
Yes.
Boy, when you put it like that.
although,
Well, that's true. That's
Yeah,
why I
I
want to
agree
get
with
an
that, but he
outside
says
consultant to,
he's
the legal
got
is
the
further,
regs to
the legal
do
is
that.
further down
Right.
the hill.
But the regs allow that adjustment.
Yeah.
I'm
No.
asking.
So,
They had they had suggested that methodology to determine the accuracy because it didn't quite match up. This was the existing one. So it was just a general overlay. So once you actually look at people's
Oh, yeah,
lots
yeah.
individually,
No,
then you
that's-
can,
That sounds fine.
what is the language in 1056?
I think it's
recall.
isolated or land subject to flooding.
We don't have to do any work in the land subject to flooding, so have I addressed that?
I
Just-
think you had.
All these people.
So you're not doing any work in the land subject to flooding. So I don't think I need to address
I think you had
1056 other than to
disturbance.
say that.
think
There's
you
no
had
disturbance in the land subject to flooding. No. I guess what I'm trying to do is narrow my range of what I have to do. And what I'm hearing right now, I think I've addressed everything except the ZBA application and the Board of
And
Health
this-
application.
This line right here.
The flood line?
Yeah.
What do you want on that?
Do you want DEP to say they're okay with the flood line as shown? So I'm trying to right now I feel like Dorothy. Tell me what I have to do.
well,
I
we
can tell you,
we
I
have
got-
been.
Must ask for zoning exemption, must have,
I didn't have the must part. but-
sorry,
That's how she writes.
yeah, these are my notes. Needs the Board of Health, needs DEP response, And you're saying that you don't need a narrative for 1056 because no work is within
In the flood zone.
I think it
zone,
was
but you would disagree.
subject to flooding. I'm pretty sure that section is subject to flooding. I'm not
Yeah.
positive. I don't know why we had suggested. I think I said that.
Okay, so maybe not 1056.
Well, it
The
says,
other thing I'm trying to assess is right now my client's into this, to me, it's for about 10,000. I appreciate that, but he doesn't.
it's a very difficult lot.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
talk
really
about
not.
a
I mean, if the riverfront didn't exist 20 years ago, this would have been done. Would have
Well,
been done.
You should have.
You know, the good old days,
He'd be
I
on
tell
the
you.
river.
But here we are. Here we are,
But this
2017.
lot did
It's a
exist
pickle.
before the riverfront. And it says in the act that if the lot was created before the riverfront, and we've done our best to minimize the impact,
Done
and the
our
board shall, it says
best.
the board shall approve it.
If
Doesn't
you've
say-
done your best.
Alternative.
And
And
yet we have found an alternative that you have not addressed yet.
We
so-
also have a bylaw that supersedes the DEP to the 50-foot setback, and you're well within that.
I have asked for a waiver.
So you have to give us the practical alternative.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty
And I
clear.
do encourage you to visit the site to see the high ground on which we're proposing to build a house and the septic.
If the
on.
board wants to go out and look at where this stake is, and I'm standing
And it's
and
not high
going,
ground.
oh my God, would I want my house on that flat area? I mean,
But the cellar
that's so
floor-
close to
but the cellar
that.
floor
That's no
is-
little trickling brook.
The cellar floor is 7 feet higher than where that stake is. You know, the foundation is going to be built. See, this is an 8-foot high
I mean,
foundation.
she's
even the
been there.
faraway picture.
So guys,
It's-
geography is
it's
not
flat.
going to change no matter how much we discuss this. I mean, you've been there, you've seen it, you've been there, you've seen it. You guys both don't agree. So that's not changing. There's no
Should we
need-
get an outside consultant?
Well, what I was about to ask is if I go to the ZBA and they grant me a variance of 10 feet, are you still going to say no to the project?
If you get it out of the 50, I'm not going to say no.
I don't think I can get it out of 50.
Houses come in all shapes and sizes, my friend,
Yeah,
and various stories high.
24 by 24?
get it out of 50.
Smaller envelope,
That
no
is our town
garage.
bylaw.
But you are allowed to grant.
If you have tried to get an exemption from zoning, then yes, but you haven't even attempted that. So
So if I attempt and they say no, are you still going to say no? Because now I've wasted another $2,000 or $3,000 on my client's
we
money.
can't speak as an entire commission, but I can personally tell you that if you make an attempt and you get refused, and I have that in writing, then I will see it as my duty to find a way to allow them to use their lot, and I would not just say no.
Then
She might say, build a smaller house.
Then I would like to request a continuance to give me time to go apply for that variance.
Absolutely.
Okay, anybody in the audience have any questions about this lot? Okay, so, we got a continuance.
I appreciate your comments. I understand your concern. I'd like to get, 5 or 10 feet further away if I could.
Great. We'll see if we
I'll
can
make
do
a
it.
motion to continue the public hearing for 58 Chestnut Street to January 8th at 8 PM.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
All right. I will contact DEP too, so I can get them to comment on this flood zone.
Yeah, I mean, you did drastically change the plans from the very first filing. I mean, you had 3 lots, you had
They've seen each
no
change.
notes. How do
They've
you
seen-
know they saw it? Sending
I
a
know,
register?
They are
Right.
understaffed.
Sending and seeing are two different things.
But they are understaffed.
Okay,
I know.
All right.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have an 8 o'clock public hearing for 32 Linden Street. Corey and Natalia Lopez?
Lopes.
Lopes. Oh, Lopes, okay. Been saying that wrong the whole time. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Advertisement, remember?
Yes, yep, that's all we needed.
Before they get really started, I botched up my notes and I wrote down, we voted to issue a certificate of compliance, but we didn't do it up here. Okay.
Oh, yeah, it was way down there.
Watch my notes there.
That's okay.
Not that.
And
Do
we've
you have a
opened this in the
story to
past,
tell?
right?
No?
I don't know what happened. I tried
Yes.
to click on it.
Okay, let me read
Do
the
you guys
ad.
remember how long ago we opened this?
We couldn't open it
Last
because,
time, but I mean before that.
oh, it was like
I'm trying to dig it out.
End of summer,
Yeah,
yeah,
2 months ago.
either August or beginning of September.
it was a violation notice.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, the Town of Douglas Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing for Corey and Natalia Lopes on November 13th, which has gone by, at 7:30, Municipal Center, 29 Depot Street, for work to be done pursuant to the Town of Douglas Wetland Bylaw and the Wetland Protection Act, MGL 131, Section 40. Proposed location will be at 32 Linden Street and involves the placement of fill and loam for the purpose of creating a lawn within the 100-foot buffer zone of a bordering vegetative wetland. And if you could introduce yourselves, please.
I'm Dave Crossman of PNC Associates. I'm the representative from Webster.
Go ahead.
So,
You have a plan you could
it's
show us.
the one I think that I filed before
Okay.
is that one that we filed with the original filing. As you are aware, there is, this is an existing single-family house, and as you go in the driveway on the left side, all of the left side was filled with dirt to level it out. And that area was inadvertently done without, the Lopes are first-time homeowners, and they just thought, they have 2 little kids, so they're gonna level out the ground for the kids. So this area is adjacent to an existing wetland, and that area has been reflagged. I don't know, Steve, get up to take a look at that.
Oh, let me see.
It does not appear that the fill is in the wetlands,
Oh, he doesn't.
so, but obviously there should have been a filing, because it is easily within the 100-foot buffer
Yep.
zone. So this, I guess that's why we're here to discuss what you would, how you would like us to proceed, what you would like to see from us.
Okay, Steve, I go by there on occasion. I live just down the street, and there are straw wattles up,
Right.
but they're not shown on this plan, correct?
Correct.
So we
And this plan is not an as-built plan, correct? It's just proposed.
Right.
Do we know if the house is where it's located on that plan?
This is all, yes, this is where, this driveway does look exactly like this. The house is where it is. There's a swimming pool now.
The distance
Over
from
this
the
side.
wetland and this right here, and all these wetland flags are refreshed or they're new?
They're all, the flagging out there is new.
Okay, so they're not in these locations or numbered?
They're not in, I'm gonna guess they're not in exactly that location.
Do we
this-
have a plan?
Did this come before us for the pool that you were just referring to?
That was the previous homeowner.
Oh, so this predates the previous home.
this is from '97.
Yeah, they're
Holy
brand new.
cow.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Well, can I just catch up here? I have for September, we said must pull the fill out in 3 weeks and erosion control in 2 days. Was that achieved?
Or they needed to file.
So we have not pulled the fill out. Because I didn't write or file. I said must pull fill out in 3 weeks, erosion
Yeah.
controls in 2 days. Did they pull the fill out?
No.
I put erosion controls and I filed.
Okay.
I remember that they had to file.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
three,
then the
I
erosion
did it
control.
that day, that next day I put the hay wattles up, the very next day.
Good, good, good.
Did we file on the day that we were trying
Yeah.
to get it in, and that's why a lot of this is old, because it's all that we had to present. And we didn't even have the wetlands flagged at that time. We were just trying to get the filing in time to meet the enforcement order.
So what plan did you send to DEP with the filing?
It was this plan also.
How do you think they know what you're doing?
They have no comment to try to know.
They probably
Yeah,
are
they're
like,
mystified.
I mean, they have issued a file number, but they have no comments.
okay.
I mean, the narrative in here did explain that this is an after-the-fact filing for the work in the buffer zone.
Okay. So the closest part of the disturbance.
It is probably as you head down towards the street, right along this edge right in here.
There's
Once you come
no
around here-
measurements. That's part of an issue. Even from the closest flag we're gonna need, or the area, the square footage.
We need to see where the erosion control is on the plan.
So that we can say, hey, you said you were gonna do this here, and not like over there.
I'm sorry, guys, I don't mean to be a pest, but I'm going to read from our minutes, which says, Ms. Van Roo feels that the fill should be excavated before the fill is scraped back. Straw wattles need to be installed that wrap around the back. Mr. Lopes needs to install the wattles by Wednesday. That was done. The excavation needs to occur within 3 weeks. As per my notes, said exactly the same thing. The Lopes were told to notify Mr. Ziss before the work is started so that they can inspect the erosion control. The Lopes were told they need to file a notice of intent if they wish to create a lawn in that area. So the excavation was part of the immediate violation, what was supposed to be done within 3 weeks so that all of that stuff wasn't moving around. And so that the vegetation under there would be uncovered. Because what we're doing right now, since September 18th, is that we're killing the wetland vegetation that was under there. We've buried things. So there's impacts.
Well, I have to disagree that we're in the wetlands, based on what I saw out there.
So what are we in the buffer?
Yes.
So you're killing buffer vegetation, excuse me.
Well, I mean-
So I'm just saying that that was why the excavation was required within 3 weeks, that it be taken out before any further impacts to the buffer area. And so that was in fact in the minutes, that this was not an option to wait for an NOI. So technically, there was a violation going on since September 18th. According to the minutes, that has not been rectified. This is why and this is
And
why.
those are approved minutes. too.
Those are approved minutes, and this is why I write like a freaking fiend, because I don't expect to remember this kind of stuff 2 months later.
Yeah.
But that's what, those are the agreements that were made, that's what was voted on.
Well,
True
just so okay, that's not our understanding, or at least that's not how I was told it was understood.
Yeah, you weren't.
And,
That's different. Yeah.
and to pull it all out and then get permission to put it back in is kind of, I don't know,
A no-win.
right.
That's because you're assuming that you would have gotten permission to put it back in. I mean, you have to keep that in mind, that the first
Right.
thing you do is remove the damage so that we can discuss how, when, and if it's put back
Well, I've
in.
done a lot of after-the-fact filings for this particular type of activity, and in the worst-case scenario, some of this would have been approved, and we just pulled back to where it would have been approved at the worst-case scenario. You don't pull everything out, and then that's a lack, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to do the work 2 or 3 times. It's been done, I agree it was a violation, but it's in the buffer zone, and you can work in the buffer zone. And
Not without
it's work.
permission.
Yes, I agree, but we can get that permission to take it all out again and then put it back again.
That's not your decision to make, that's this commission's decision to make, and that decision was not only made, it was voted on, and it's recorded in the minutes. So I'm not really interested in your opinion on that decision. That decision has already been made. We are dealing with that now, the fact that that decision was ignored, and therefore is still in violation for 2 months, 3 months, a long time. So I'm not going to sit here while you pass judgment on what this commission did or did not vote on 2 months ago. That's not here or there, because that decision's already been made and is not yours to judge. So let's deal with what's in front of us, which is A, an existing violation for 2.5 months, and B, an NOI to add fill, where there shouldn't be some right now.
What was the request for the NOI? Can I see your application? And then, what are you requesting to do at this point? Distance from the BVW edge, and how you're going to pull it back and rectify the disturbance. Thank you. So this doesn't tell me, like, for distances or...
Well, obviously the Lopes would like to leave, would like to get the whole thing approved. Now, I know that's probably not gonna happen, but that's why we're here to discuss what you would approve and what else we need to be doing to move this forward, if at all possible.
So does it really say what you're doing? Landscape, filing for landscaping within 100 foot?
Yeah, because,
Yeah, that was basically just to create a lawn, so it's just.
Right.
and again, it was like, we didn't fill, like, for me to take it up, first of all, no one even knows, did you guys know what it looked like prior to me putting the fill in? No. Alright, so there wasn't, I didn't add that much more fill. That was all like that for 3 years. Those trees were gone.
I think that
And then I
what-
brought dirt in and I just put some fill down. But I don't understand how much you want me to take out when there wasn't even...
I think that would have been...
How are you gonna know how much it went, do you want me to go back to my driveway? It didn't start at my driveway, so like where are you putting, how much you want me to take out?
Well, two answers to
You want me
that.
to dig?
The first
Dig?
answer would have been that that's an excellent question for the night where that decision was made, when you were here and we made that decision.
Yes, ma'am, but this was the first time I've done this, and
Right, but I'm saying we were here. If you weren't understanding what we were asking of you, you definitely should have asked us, because we would have happily clarified exactly
I'm very
what...
nervous, and I had never done this before, and I apologize to what I've done to this point. I was just trying to put something in for my kids. I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes or break the law or do any of that, so I apologize I didn't ask those questions.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we can work on it from here.
So, I need some sort of relativity on one measurement on this plan in order to make some determination. I know you have a ruler, but this little thing right here, did you actually measure in the field from the closest hanging?
There's no survey work.
Right, did you measure in the field closest
There's
wetland flag
no,
to the fill?
no, because there's no point of reference.
There's no flag?
Well, the flags are there, but
Yeah.
there's no point of reference where I could pick something off this and get it.
Well, you
This is just
could
a
run from the
rough
flag to
Right, but
where
those-
the disturbance
Those
is.
flags are the old flags.
Okay, oh, okay.
It's been
I
reflagged,
see
right.
what you're saying.
Right, it's all has fresh flagging that shows the existing conditions as they are this very day.
Okay, so the fresh flag to the closest point of disturbance is how many feet?
The closest out here would probably be within a couple feet out by the road.
And you can see like water, like right over the,
No, there's not
like
water.
this far away.
No, there's no water there,
No.
but
It does get higher in the spring. I'm sure.
Okay, so
That probably
you understand
pockets.
where I'm going with this. So I think, you know, where would the 50-foot land, where would the 30-foot land, those types of things, I can make a judgment on keeping, you know, I don't know what's happening back here either. So you've only filled to here?
Yeah, I haven't got, yeah.
But there's a pool here,
Yeah,
which wasn't.
and then this pool was here when I bought the house.
Yeah.
And on my back deck, right over here, I feel that the water's closer to my house than it is over here.
Right, so now you have the actual flagged line.
Right,
So
like how the heck did they approve
So now
that
we
building
really
with that
should
house?
pull at least 30 feet from
Okay,
every single
I
flag.
can honestly tell you, we are within 30 feet,
Right,
and we are within 50. Well, obviously, if we're within 30, we're within 50. But we are, as you get to the road, it's not out at the road. I started like kind of in this direction and show it going here, and then it comes right up, really within 5 feet, I would say, of the fill, and then it starts working its way away from the fill as you come around this corner. But right in the road corner, it's really right there.
Do you want to go out and look at it? Steve had
Yeah,
pictures for the
definitely.
last meeting
okay,
that are on the computer.
okay.
So
So we can't
if
see
you-
those.
No.
Yeah, then I think we need to do a sidewalk here.
I mean, I've seen it because I've walked by it, and you can, it's right on the street.
And currently, the wattles are running along this edge?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that'll make it really easy, so that'll be good.
This is kind of smudged here, but does that say 100-foot buffer zone?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so that's what that line is?
that was the previous 100-foot buffer zone. That was for this septic.
For the previous-
For this plan here, that was where it was.
So it's 100 feet
From here to here.
Right.
So everything here,
Right, so basically, everything is within the buffers, all the work is in the buffer zone, we're not disputing that. And I'm not even gonna dispute the fact that we're well within the 30 feet, and particularly as you get to the road. So all the work should have been filed for initially, but it's, I mean, the house, the buffer zone, it goes past the front of the house, so we're at the driveway, which the driveway looks like it was about 50 feet.
But you got wetland flags over here, too.
yep.
Yeah,
So this
the
line
whole
is really
thing
meaningless.
No,
in the
it's
sense
like
that-
a clock, just the whole area
Swing it
is within 100.
Right. It's
Or
a-
actually
it's
swing
a-
it this
It's a
way.
little knob that cuts out into a swamp.
Where's the filing again?
So I
See, that was
would,
kind of what my point was, that everything is virtually encompassed by wetlands on one side or another, but go ahead.
So what they just filed today, though, the NOI?
No,
I
last
would
week, but they
like
didn't
to
have the ad
see
from the
the
paper. So I
as-built
couldn't
plan.
read it.
So do we have
On
it
the
though? Where's the
septic?
NOI?
I don't know what year the house was
The
built,
whole
but they should
It's like
still,
9
Is
days.
it 2 copies?
they should
Please
still
tell me
have
it's
one
2
in the Board of
copies, so
Health,
That's not that long.
so that I can see if this house is actually in this location. And then we can scale off, you can get the corner, and without any survey work, we can do approximate flag locations. No? I mean, this
Yeah.
is nothing, I can't do anything with
Right.
this.
I understand that, that's
So,
This
but
is a sad
basically,
plan at this moment, approximate edge of fill.
right.
I mean, so-
I think Steve dug this out of the Board of Health files and gave it to Mr. Lopes.
no, actually,
No,
we
this was-
did have a
this was
previous
mine
file.
from
gonna
when
say
I
that
bought
with
the
the pool,
house.
there's a file,
He,
right?
No, they didn't file
McGuire
the pool.
had this, he gave this to us. And then
Just
at
the house back in
first meeting,
97.
This is the map once
I went back in the minutes.
Right.
On the first
in the
meeting,
room,
and you guys had a ruler
and that
to
was
this
like-
plan.
Right, but
It was
I
just
was
the house.
questioning, where is the
Oh, no, I know,
actual
but
line,
you're-
where is the
I have
actual
the
house
house?
filing,
I get
then
it.
when
Where
did the
is
pool
the
get put in?
septic?
So you said all of it,
I
I
don't
just
know.
gotta find it and, or you
Probably.
can.
You would have a
Not
septic
permitted.
as-built with the foundation,
so that's what I'm wondering, are we just gonna,
and then
if he
the-
does that corner where the fill is? Go ahead, you can go.
the flag line numbered on the plan
Yeah.
with the existing disturbance and your proposed location of fill and lawn.
And you already said like a description of what's going to be done?
No, I didn't say description.
Some kind
So,
of narrative, like
There
what's going
needs to be a
done?
narrative. Oh, so the NOI does not address that you are going to keep 30 feet from the wetland edge, whatever number, that
Yeah.
30 might be more reasonable than 5 feet.
what you're adding here. Like, this says landscaping, that's too vague. What exactly are you adding?
So, yeah,
What
so
are you seeding?
the construction sequence, just a very
Obviously,
simple
you know.
sequence of events. You're gonna pull that back, pull the erosion back, and then do your
Plant
seeding.
grass. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
right.
Wasn't
So
gonna build
just,
anything or anything.
since you filed the NOI, now we've gotta get a plan that shows what you're actually gonna do, so we can put it in our file.
Okay.
So if somebody says something,
Right.
or tries to put the lawn, extending it to the wetland,
No, believe me.
we could say, you know, we don't want you to move, but I think that you could have a good distance for a lawn area, and then maybe even, I don't know what is over here in this area.
That's all just woods. Right here, the guy had a little shed. Over here's a shed and then the pool.
So I don't know if you
Behind
can-
the shed
And then
pool
behind
this is
that's
upland
nothing.
woods,
Yeah.
and it's on a slope that runs down, and then
Like
the
it seems
lower
like he
slope
put
is
this whole
really.
house is, I feel like, was not even supposed to be there, to be honest with you.
So-
Which I never bought the thing. I mean, it's terrible. I can't even believe this. Like, I don't even want, I can't believe I'm even going
Oh,
through it.
this isn't that bad.
So I don't know if you can relocate this, you know, strip of fill to, in this, I don't know what this looks like, if it is a,
No, I mean,
a slope
this
going this
where
way.
he says that it's close here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the least of now. That was just, we just kind of like, there's
so
not
you
even
could
that
maybe
much.
break
here.
it up or
Right.
something.
Like I'm
and
telling you,
move that
that
erosion
was
control
already
up.
cleared, like before.
Right, so we don't know what happened before, but
Do you think you'll go out to the site?
we need
Do
to
you wanna take this
establish
map with you?
a limit,
Yeah.
whatever the,
Yeah, it's different
you
from
know,
what they have.
when
we
you're
have
looking at the
several.
site.
Yeah, oh, if you've got
and
that.
then
No, that's the
maybe
97
move
map.
this
That's
fill
97.
to,
Like
So
I
it's the
could,
same
I
one.
could literally break that.
yeah, so, so I think that would be nice.
Do you want to go out
before
to the
Who put this
site?
line on here?
I'll just drive by.
You
want a
did?
map?
Right, that's why it says
No.
approximate.
She's got extra, she's
Well,
giving
I
away
see
like
that, but
that.
it's just like,
It is
Well, we
kind
want
of,
to
he's
make sure
pointing
we don't
out
drag
that-
this out forever.
I know.
it, right,
He
it's
didn't-
not squared
he's-
off, it's kind of just,
So I think if
Curling
So
we,
you just kind of eyeballed it and kind of,
right.
As
It
a-
runs into the backyard, right in here, just in line with, right, just right behind the driveway in here. And then it angles, it kind of follows this curve of the driveway as it pushes out and then just stayed.
Yeah. And originally, the trees were here, and my wife was scared of the trees because she didn't like the dark and everything, so I did that. But then I wanted to put grass because I wanted to make it look better for the neighborhood and whatnot. I didn't want it to just be clear, like I just wanted to put some grass down and make it, do a little landscape, make it look a little better for everybody, that's all. I mean, you know, that's what I did with it.
this area was, you only been in the house, what, 3 years?
Yeah.
2 years?
3
Like
years.
that, 3 years.
Yeah.
Was this area kind of played with by the previous owner?
It was cut. There was
Yeah.
stumps there.
Right.
I mean, so his point, I guess, is what I'm getting back to. It's hard to even know how much to tell him to remove
That's what
when
I'm
he
saying.
doesn't, you know, it was played with before he got it. Some of that, there was digging and tree chopping, and maybe there was some leveling. Who knows? How would you estimate how
I
much
think it
he
was a
added?
violation they were told to stop
Yes.
cutting because it was all in the buffer zone.
Yeah,
That was
but-
years
but
ago.
Randy was saying, we told him to remove.
No, that's a more
That's
recent
the new
violation.
stuff.
Yeah.
So the cutting was old
Yeah.
violation. This violation, what we're saying is the dirt the fill that's gone 5 feet to the wetland was not there before. The 5 feet to the, you can see the fresh fill, and that can be removed.
I think-
Nobody's saying that you
yeah.
have to fix, nobody's saying you have to fix like old stuff that was done out here, but clearly there's all this, which is new and should not, and you can see fresh fill. So it's not impossible to figure out where the new stuff is and to remove that. Nobody's saying they have to go back and fix the old violation of you can't replant the trees, right? But you can definitely take out the fresh fill especially within the 25 no disturb.
Oh, yeah, well.
Let alone at least,
Yeah.
going for 30 would be
I'll buy that
would
if
be
you-
good compensation, but
Not that this is
It's super accurate. So pretty much the driveway is gonna be, driveway to the wetland is less than 50.
Yeah, so any fresh fill should be removed. Obviously, you don't have to dig down into the if it's established, it's established. You can find the difference between fresh fill and established ground,
For a while.
compacted ground.
So as far
I mean, the
as,
work was done when? When was the fill brought in?
It was it was a couple of years ago, and then I got another dump, and then I put some down
When was that?
in summertime.
So you can tell the fresh fill. The fresh fill can be pulled out. We can't do anything about maybe what was done a couple years ago, but we can sure as heck get that soft, fresh fill that can easily be eroded out of there.
Is there any other options?
Just rake it out of there.
Because it's,
Within 5 feet of a wetland, I can't see an option. Nobody gets a lawn 5 feet from a to establish lawn 5 feet from a
but if
wetland.
I rake all this like we were just talking about back, will that be okay?
Well, that's what we're saying, pull it
So,
out. You were saying
I
pull
think-
it
I don't
30
wanna-
feet?
I think
Without-
around a 25, yeah, raking it
Pull
up
it back.
and
Right.
maybe relocating it, maintaining 25 foot from the edge of the wetland that was just freshly flagged. I think we should look at that, because it's
would
gonna
be along in
be,
here this
you'd
way.
still maintain, you'd have your lawn area kind of like this, and you could add, we could maybe grant, maybe back here, 50 or something, but to move that new, definitely out of here, and if this driveway
Well,
is in the correct
And out of,
location.
this is where it's closest, so this is where I'd really want it. This is
Yeah.
where the wetland is.
Well, I would pull it
Yeah,
to
so-
25
So,
and see where that ends up.
yeah.
And what has been disturbed within the 0 to 25 buffer. So if you measure off the wetland flags, 25 feet, see approximately where that lands.
Like a strip here.
Now, are we going to require a new plan?
Yes. Yeah, at least a plan that has some sort of relativity of what is actually going on.
Where the existing
So
erosion
if you
control
can
is?
locate the sewer as-built plan, erosion control, so the staked straw wattles, the new wetland flagging with the numbers, you could probably pull it in the field on the locations. No?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's wide open, so you can probably use both
You could do
corners of the house.
Yeah,
as
house
the,
corners.
You know, and triangulated that one.
just something so that we have paper trail, accurately paper trail.
And so you're gonna drive by at your convenience? And so are you okay with us not establishing a time that we're gonna visit, or would you like a time and a day that we're gonna visit?
I mean,
To check it out, it would be at
no,
least
I
the
mean,
two of us.
I would like to be there, if that's okay. If not, then come anytime.
No, I mean, I can certainly set a time if you're more comfortable with that, and
Sure.
if you would like
Yeah,
that.
because I work in the city, but you let me know, I'll get back.
Well, I wouldn't want to, I don't want to pull you back
No,
from
but
work.
I go back and forth as I please, so I'm not,
Okay.
I'm a manager, so whatever. If you guys say I'll be here this time, I will be there.
Do you
That's
have
what I'm saying.
I don't have a preference.
Well, and I don't mean to drag you to a particular time either, but I think it'd be better if we're all talking about the same thing, if we can, you've already seen it,
Okay.
so.
When are you free?
Tuesday.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's Tuesday. What
Yeah,
time?
actually, I am. Anytime you want, actually.
I have an appointment at 10:30 outdoors, so I could be there probably 11:15. Is that okay? I
Be
mean-
there.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
And maybe we can find a happy medium on the fill that's
But he's,
It's a start.
I asked you this last time and I forgot what you said. Which end, which side of the street are you on? Which way is it? Southeast Main over here or
Yes, it
Southeast Main
is.
over there?
It's over here. It's on this side. So it's coming.
So if I come down Southeast Main,
You're gonna take a
you
left.
hang a left,
Yeah.
and you're on the left side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you come around, this whole area out here is wetland, and there's a little stream or something, but there's a curve, and then once you come around the curve, you can see it's wide open.
Your mailbox have a number on it?
yes.
Okay.
So
32. You want to take that plan with
Yeah, I
him?
know, but you know, the mailboxes are not always,
Well, he said he's got a good one.
Did you say 11:15?
sometimes
There's
they're,
another sign too. that
sometimes
says
they're in
32.
front of the house, sometimes they're across the street from the house, but you think it,
But this is on, if you come off of
Okay.
Southeast Main, you're definitely
it's
on the left.
Yeah. Okay, so tomorrow you guys are gonna do site walk. Sounds like a plan.
15.
Yes. Okay, so we all set? Anybody in the audience have any questions? No. All right, so we want to continue this till January 8th at 8:15.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see ya.
Be nice.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, now we have a public hearing continuation for 136 Perry Street. Rosemarie Anthony Hayes?
Okay.
That is typed up, and
It's typed up.
yeah, to be
feel like
signed.
you
Oh,
should
she
be an
typed up a
attorney,
bunch of
Brandy.
stuff.
I will. Don't do this.
You don't want to be?
No, definitely not. It's not good for my blood pressure.
Sorry we're running so far behind.
No, it's okay. We had some thoughts.
Oh, good. Yeah, pull that right up here, right under the light. Face it this way. Everybody away from him? Right.
My name is JP Conley. I work for Andrews Survey and Engineering, and I'm here representing Rose Galini Hayes and notice of intent for a pool and deck addition. So at the last hearing, we wanted to have a sequence, a construction sequence. I've given you quite a lengthy construction sequence. The bulk of it is basically on how the methodology for installation of BMPs, erosion control, etc. But the meat and potatoes of the construction sequence is right there.
DEP says, oh, is the swimming pool in buffer? They just comment and the swimming pool's in a buffer
Oh,
zone.
yeah.
That's what I was laughing about.
Surprise, notice of intent. So beyond those notes, I designated an area within what was our stockpile area for water treatment or temporary water dewatering area, essentially enshrouded in another layer of erosion control. What I envision is that a silt sack will be put inside there or built, or some sort of desilting basin.
Because there might be high groundwater.
Well, when we do the excavation there for that pool 8 feet down, presumably will be into the groundwater between 2 to 4 feet. So there's a good chance that that would be a part of the operation. The pool contractor, Lakeside Pools, have basically their own protocol for doing dewatering for pool foundations. Essentially, they'll come in, they'll excavate about 1.5 feet to a foot below the bottom of the pool. They'll install about 6 inches of crushed stone, and then a network of perforated pipes, and then more stone above that. And essentially that will act as a sandwich, which they can attach a manifold and a vertical pipe with a pump on the other end of it. So the pump sits at the grade, and ultimately the network of pipe is just abandoned underneath the pool when the construction is completed. And I felt that rather than trying to position a dewatering area next to the pool, I put it over here since it gives us the most distance from the wetlands. addition, it was already within the temporary stockpile area.
Any questions, Mike?
Can't think of any.
I like the position.
Brandy, what do you think?
I was just figuring out how much of the tree line's being cleared. I'm just now seeing the new tree line, which is, yeah. Like, this all makes sense here, but there's all this clearing going on here, partly for the stockpile and the dewatering area.
As well as access. So they were creating a construction access road through there, essentially.
And what's here?
That's the septic.
Thank you, got it. Okay, that helps a lot. Okay, that makes sense.
So the tree line, the existing tree line does this, and we're just gonna pull it out to that.
All work in the buffer.
Our old meeting minutes kind of make it sound like the pool is going in where the old septic was. No.
Test pit.
This is the old
The old
septic
septic
area.
plan shows two, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, the
That
test
makes it
pit's for
sound-
the septic design.
Well,
Okay, I believe it. I was just
What does it
reading how
say?
this was written, and
Has those been approved yet?
Two
Those minutes?
testing pits with water at 30 inches and 32 inches.
right.
So I think before
I
he got the
presented the
plan.
septic plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So at the last hearing, I presented the septic plan to show the testing for the septic, given
Yes.
an idea of where groundwater is.
Yes.
Any other questions or concerns?
No.
You all set? Anybody here have any questions? Do you want to make a motion to close the public hearing and issue an order of conditions?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and issue the order of conditions for 136 Perry Street.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Perry, O of C. Great, okay, thank you.
I think I'm next, too,
All right,
potentially.
so we have a continuation for public hearing, Lot 5, Walnut Street, developers.
Hi there, JP Conley, Andrew Survey and Engineering. Here representing Walnut Street developers. And at the last hearing, we had, I think there's 4 comments. Street address, whether an ANRAD had been filed on this project site, any additional decks, and I believe that covers it.
Board of Health approval.
Board of Health approval. Okay, so with regards to the decks, we are showing a proposed deck with stairway in the back there now. I believe the plan does have a street address, 115 Walnut Street. I don't know about the Board of Health status.
I'm not sure. It's been submitted, certainly. I'm not sure that it's back yet or not.
It's totally outside the 100, right?
Yeah.
The whole system.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? So that won't affect us.
But I think we were asking
Okay.
because of the stairs, maybe? The decks? I don't know.
No, usually we,
Well,
The tank is
because
in-
the septic tank
Yeah.
and building sewers within the 100, so
Oh.
potentially that may have been cause.
It shouldn't change.
shouldn't, maybe.
It can't change.
Board of Health may say, we don't want it there.
Highly unlikely.
And then they'll have to come back and refile.
Oh
Board of
my
Health will say,
gosh.
we want it right here.
Please. I don't know, Board, I mean, we usually don't close unless we get Board of Health.
No, but can we vote pending?
No, I refuse.
Okay.
Once you sign something and close the public hearing, it's done. In my mind.
All right, you want to wait for that then?
I mean, could we, considering there's a month, could you condition that they get Board of Health approval? It's at our own risk if we need to come back to try to modify,
Yeah, amend the
then we will,
NOI.
but I honestly don't think we would.
We don't have anybody to keep track of it. That's the only thing. We won't have Steve for a while.
I'd be fine with dating the approved plan for this date.
So you're approving this plan, so
With the-
if
this
we don't
plan
build this
date.
plan, then it's on us to
Yeah.
tell you that we changed it.
Yeah, but what if it
I mean, they
doesn't?
can move the tank with it outside the 100. They can move it out of the buffer. I don't know where else it could possibly go. So it's either in the buffer or it's out of the
Yeah, I mean, it
buffer.
would only move further away.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Mike?
I'd be fine
Yeah,
approving this plan date.
condition it
Brandon.
somehow. I'm
I'll
okay
follow
with that.
whatever you feel.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
So, make a motion to close and,
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing and issue the order of conditions for 115 Walnut Street with the plan dated 11/27/17.
28. 11, sorry, I'm reading over here. Sorry. My bad.
that's the plan.
Messed up with your order, but I will still second what you
Now-
said. Thank you.
We need a copy of this plan, or have you submitted them?
I have 2 copies with me to give you right now.
Because we need that.
Yep.
All right. So, do we have a second yet?
Yes.
Okay, motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Great.
That's actually
Thanks, Paul.
the one before that, too. 2 copies.
Oh, good.
First one, second one.
Thank you.
Good luck.
He said hallelujah. I don't know why.
At the end of the,
Well, did they request that
oh, we gotta
continuance?
officially do the,
Do you want me to continue those two?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
The other one, it's 8:56, so the other one's at 9. Do you care?
We'll do the first one really
Do you
slowly.
care?
How long?
I have something I could talk to you about for 4 minutes.
No, you don't. It's longer than 4
No longer
minutes.
than
And
4
this one is for,
Well, we can continue
what about
45
the,
Crescent, right?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for 45 Crescent Lane, lot number 10, to January 8th at 8:15 PM.
Second.
motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
I maybe at 3 minutes, if the chair's gonna recognize him. Drop-ins. What do you think this place is?
we got these missing DEP numbers, by the way.
They advertise with
Oh.
or something funky like that. 45. It's gonna be
45.
8:15.
Oh, we had 32 Linden, 8:50.
Oh, I'm sorry, let me amend that to 8:30.
Second the amendment.
All right, motion been made and seconded to
8:30.
8:30. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. See, Okay, and the next one? Are we there yet?
Not
Oh, couple-
quite,
couple
but
seconds.
pause.
I think we have, we do the 84
You
Bigelow.
gotta drop in
Yeah.
if you want to give them that.
Oh,
I have something that
you're not on the agenda?
I thought it would be, but it's not.
Okay, well, we gotta clean up this agenda stuff first. How about 84 Bigelow Road? Is somebody here for that? Okay. What are you here for?
My husband and I are considering buying property in Douglas, and I just wanted to see, like, what the approval process was like before we start the whole building.
So you're not on the agenda?
No, I'm not on the
Okay.
agenda. I'm just a silent observer, wallflower back here.
Right,
so.
getting earful tonight.
Oh, it's been very educational.
All right, so,
So we don't have
okay,
84
Paul,
Bigelow.
you're up.
Thank you.
You got 1 minute.
Actually, want me to just make the motion?
To what?
Continue that?
No, you can wait.
Sorry, Brady.
No problem.
Oh, I was like, oh,
You still got 1 minute.
Yeah, so we're gonna pull. This is, if you recall, 8688 Gilboa Street,
yes, the driveway.
the driveway.
Yes.
So,
That's decent.
yeah, so they're building it now. You've probably all driven by it, most likely. And so I was contacted by Barbara Bowie, the applicant. And this is the approved plan, basically, right here. You can see it in black. And what I'm showing is in red is where they would like to move the driveway to.
Okay.
Now, since we had conservation approval and we had gone to the safety committee for the driveway cut, I forwarded it to Bill and forwarded it to the safety committee and Steve said, well, you should probably just get a plan change for it, basically, is the way that I looked at it. It's basically moving like 9 feet to the right.
What's happening with those trees? They're already down?
Everything's done.
Okay.
Everything's down, and to be honest, what they're actually trying to do is save this oak,
Okay.
which was coming down.
Yeah.
So if anything, I am not positive that they'll be able to save that oak. They're trying to. If it works out that when they finish their grading they can, they're going to. The National Grid, what I was told, the National Grid arborists looked at it and thought it could stay for now. They're gonna watch it because of their power lines and everything. So really, in terms of conservation, it moved over a little bit and they're trying to save a tree. So I really don't, but I just didn't want to just leave it hanging because Steve brought
Did
it
it
up.
already move and
It
is
is-
it already dug up?
Yes, it is
It's
where.
in that location.
It's in
So
where that red, I
You're
taped it.
trying to say it was misinstalled a little
I
bit
think
over.
that the installer, I think he wanted to save the tree, to be honest
Okay.
with you. That was the reason
So
that
it's
was
not
given.
dug up, but it's, the trees are cut, but it's not grubbed out on the
These-
left side.
These trees are cut, which
Okay,
were
yeah,
gonna be,
all
Yeah, but
grubbed
is it
out.
grubbed out?
yeah, it's down to
So they
dirt here.
did the work, they did the change.
So it's like
Now you're
super
kind of
big?
like, oops, oops, oops.
Well, the thing is, there's a little story with this. I drove by one day, there was no erosion control up, nothing, and it was already done. It was already gouged out, and so I went immediately, that was at our last meeting, so I went and talked to Steve before the
Oh, I
meeting.
thought
He
I've
called up
seen it.
Mrs. Bowie
Yeah.
and said, because he was never notified
Whoa.
to go and inspect the erosion control, which there was none of.
What happened?
Yeah, I wasn't even aware
So
of that, to be
I,
honest with you.
she did get it put up. It took
Yeah,
a few
these are-
days, but it is up.
So here's a few pictures of, I mean, I think the erosion control, there was nothing that I saw that got to the street at all.
No, it didn't,
And
because
that's
it
the
hasn't
tree.
rained.
That's the oak.
But it was definitely done a month ago. I
Was it
mean,
that
at
long
least.
ago? So
Yeah.
that's the oak they're trying to save, right here.
So before there were erosion controls, you did not see any sign of erosion into the street?
No,
Right.
no.
Good, good,
So
I
where
mean, I
was-
don't see any evidence of any either now.
good. Right now, but
So what we're looking at is what the red is on your plan. The
Right.
white.
Yep, the
And
white,
then-
this white from what the contractor says where it was gonna be,
Yeah.
which would lose this oak tree. They're
So
trying to save that
What's
oak
gonna
tree.
happen with this? Reestablish lawn area?
Yes, yeah. Which is what it was gonna be here too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's- To me, it's, in terms of
Slightly
conservation,
better.
it's a net benefit of the 24-inch oak they're trying to save. The slopes, you know,
And it would be less slope cut.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, will this be exactly the same slope as on this plan to keep that tree? I don't know, but it certainly looks like something you can stabilize in those pictures. And they'll, that's what they'll have to
Comes
do.
by
and are
cuts
they
it
using this
down.
right now as their driveway?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they have that, it's- I don't know where it comes in, it's
So-
either this one, it's a common
Yeah.
strange
Right,
thing that
because
goes
I don't know
behind.
if it was this project or another where they were talking about like taking the erosion controls down, putting them back up, taking them down, putting them back up. But the erosion controls are look really good, I think, in terms of holding.
Well, yeah,
it
I
all
don't think
in
they
there.
ever go out that way.
Exactly,
They're
that's-
coming
Right,
from the
they-
back.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Until this
Okay.
is,
So it looks good. It looks like very contained.
Our captain got on top
yeah,
of it.
sure,
Yeah.
I didn't notice, so I certainly would have told them to put it
Yeah,
up.
I'm fine with it being considered a minor plan change.
What type of
And
driveway?
if you could
It'll be
notify,
paved.
I've noticed there's no DEP number up,
Okay, I'll tell them to do that.
so.
Yeah. They can put it on the oak tree.
Steve's had a lot on his plate lately.
Steve, I believe, did go out after they put him up, is that correct?
Yes, I'm sure he looked at them, but I just noticed the other day, because I did take a look too,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, DEP number 2. I didn't notice it at the last meeting.
No, it's a good point.
They did it,
Yeah.
NOI.
It was an NOI. I looked up that, 'cause I'm like, did they do an NOI?
Yeah.
Yep.
And they did. So they need to put up that DEP number, but don't nail it into the tree.
Yeah, right? He was trying to make a joke. See, you laugh.
So lots of wasted colored ink there.
Okay, here, look at.
Okay, thanks for your time.
I like it.
Okay,
Do you
thank you,
wanna
Paul.
keep those
So
for
we
the
can make a
file?
motion that it's a minor change, or?
So moved.
Yeah.
Do we have a copy like this?
We have,
Motion
you have a
made.
PDF of this right
All in
now, Steve
favor?
does.
I,
I mean,
can we take that?
did you
Yeah,
you
I
guys
can
want the
rip
hard
this off
copy?
right
Yeah, let's have that for the file,
Okay.
just in case since it wasn't NOI.
So when we have to sign off on a
Yeah.
certificate of compliance.
Yeah, you already did your as-built plan.
Of course, they may not, and has it been recorded at the Registry of Deeds?
I'll also confirm that with them.
Sometimes that doesn't happen.
Sometimes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing for 41 Crescent Lane to January 8th at 8:45 PM.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Can't believe that we're this early. I figured we'd be
Very
here.
efficient. Everybody continue, we already had the background.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Okay, revise.
Did you both say that you wanted to get out of here early?
Yeah, like
I'm just making it
9:05.
happen for you here.
So,
Thank you.
Do we have to do the COC for 103 Webster?
Yeah. He has pictures.
About the meeting schedule, did we?
We're gonna do that.
yeah, we did that.
Let's see, Bigelow was a no-show, right?
No.
I'm
the
sorry, am I
trees.
wrong about that? Yeah, because
Yeah.
she asked, is Bigelow here?
Oh, yeah.
Well, they want to cut down the tree,
Here's the 103 Webster.
a bank tree. Not one with money, but.
A bank tree.
Was there a plan filed with us? Looks pretty darn.
103
Oh,
Webster.
There's a circle.
I'll let me talk to you about that.
Oh, okay.
That's me.
Okay, come on
Could you
over.
introduce
You should've
yourself?
told us.
William Wilson, 103 Webster Street. I met Steve the day after Thanksgiving out there, and
Oh, nice.
we walked
Black
around.
Friday?
Yes.
Oh,
And I will give you something to add to it. The shed that was in question there
yes.
is gone, and I gave you the before and after
Thank you.
from what I just took down 2 days ago.
Cool.
So-
Very good.
When he came, we said there was no final plan submitted when the house was built in '05,
Yeah.
but we dug up the as-built septic,
Yeah.
to which we gave a copy.
Okay.
So we have that. He walked around with that,
Yeah.
and before he left, he said, I asked him, what does he think? And he said, well, everything looks where it's supposed to be, but that shed is a big no-no. And I said, the shed is now go-go. So he just said, well, you don't need to, and,
Yeah,
Why
tell us
don't-
about the chicken coop.
Look at the original.
that's a
filing.
doghouse.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
That's better.
Did your
Doghouse.
dogs live in there or the chickens?
That's my dog.
Oh, okay.
We had a couple windows left over from when we built the house and some shingles. We said, let's get them up off the ground. That's all.
Okay.
And we have the plans, so.
And
did
you
you
thought
wanna
that
see
was outside the 100,
Oh, it was,
way outside?
I was working with Bill. I think we marked it on there.
Doghouse is somewhere around here.
Doghouse is right where the well is, it's right here.
Okay, so it's outside the 100.
Yeah. So this is the 100.
The shed was in the wetlands, it was like here.
I think your dog's tail is just over the 100 line. So he's like right here, he's like wagging.
So Bill went over this and he plotted it on a document, which I thought would pinpoint it exactly where it was. It was in the wetlands, and I said, no clue, it's gone.
Okay.
So that's why I presented the pictures.
Thank you.
Bill actually went and measured it out exactly where it was, and I thought he brought it, left it on Steve.
Was that shed previously there? I mean, was it like?
No, I put it there just, you know.
Out of the way.
Yeah.
There was no foundation, it was just dropped.
Oh, yeah, it was sitting right on the dirt. It was,
But it must not have been in the wetland. It was in the buffer.
it was pretty much in it.
Over here? All the way over here?
It was, well, maybe it was.
Here's your house corner.
Right, it was.
Yeah,
it was in here.
that's
It was
buffer
in here.
zone.
Yeah,
this
it's always
is
the
buffer.
buffer.
Okay, that's cool. So you wouldn't have liked it.
You wouldn't have wanted to squish, squish, squish all the way to the
every
shed.
single time.
Yeah, it was, he took I think Bill took an aerial shot, like a Google map type thing, and it looks like it's deep in the woods, but actually it's just the canopy of a massive oak that's sort of blocking it. But it's as you can see, it's not far off the yard. I just put it too far back, but it's gone.
Okay. I'll make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance for 103 Webster Street.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we'll sign that tonight, and you can get a copy from Maria, our secretary.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Great.
Request to remove some trees, 84 Bigelow. So here's with some pictures. And I'll read the little that she wrote. At our water's edge, this is from Marilyn. Marilyn Fuller. We have 2 decayed trees that are rotted inside. These trees are posing a severe threat to life and our property. The area where the trees will eventually fall would be in the swimming and dock area. Allowing such a hazard to exist could restrict insurance coverage presently specific to said property. We're asking that we be permitted to remove these trees as to prevent a future potential hazard to life and property due to the potential severity of this situation. We're asking that we remove the trees as soon as possible. Thank you in advance. And anyone else who removes trees has to require a request for determination, in my opinion.
Yeah, only because we need to make sure that they only cut the 2 trees and we may
And
want
there would be no
to
stumping.
keep the stump.
and- And it is
Same
right on
thoughts?
the edge,
Yeah, and just for public knowledge,
so that there is a file.
a tree with a cavity is not necessarily a dead tree.
Yeah.
It's a common,
Well, she said rotted,
well, that's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying she's wrong.
decayed and
I see
rotting.
some retained dead leaves in the fall here, and I don't see them here, so it could be dead, but
That's a different tree, isn't it?
yeah, it is. I'm comparing. I'm saying at this season, this tree is still holding, because really you could just say, is it dead or is it winter and lost its... And I'm just making this as a point of fact, not specific to this particular person's trees. I'm just saying, a lot of people come in and they say, well, there's a cavity, so it's a dead tree. And I'm just saying, cavity does not necessitate that it's a dead tree. You always have to look and see whether or not it's still leafing out. If it's still leafing out, it's a live tree.
Or
Trees
we
can
could
grow in
say,
cavities.
yes, it's a hazard, because
Right.
it's obvious it's gonna split, but we might want you to plant another one.
Right, and I'm not saying, that they shouldn't cut it. I'm just saying, as a point of fact, a lot of people, as soon as they see a cavity, they call it a dead tree.
And we see it as habitat.
Yeah.
So, I think they should need to file a request for determination.
That would be my preference.
They all look dead this time of year, so it's hard to tell from that photo.
That one more than
I'll
another.
let you keep this one.
Needs,
So needs to file.
okay. Now, we did this meeting schedule. Oh, annual town report. Anybody see any misspellings or?
It's probably the same as last year's.
Pretty much. We haven't gotten any more land. I think it's okay. I read it.
It's the same as last year. And we added Keevan. Didn't we get that this year? What's it last year? The Keevan.
We had it in the town report last year, too.
Oh, okay.
So, because I think we got it the year before.
So Keevan
Time
wasn't,
flies.
Keevan's not added to the map.
No,
Oh,
it's
it's
in there.
cutting? Oh, okay.
Southeast Maine. It's actually off of Southeast Maine,
Oh,
so
okay.
not off of Pine.
Alright, yeah. Do you want a motion?
No, just that by consensus, we agree that that's good.
That's
Okay.
good.
Now we need to sign some vouchers. Oh, this is the,
We have a couple openings once you move into town.
I consider it.
Oh,
Okay.
gosh, we would love it. We need
Well, I mean,
peeps.
out of curiosity, just curiosity's sake, like, how do you handle stuff like invasive species? Like, does someone have to come to you and ask for a permit of like I've got barberry and oriental laceweed or whatever? And
if it's
bittersweet,
within our jurisdiction, you would
okay,
have
so
to.
it'd still be a permit to remove even invasive species.
Well, and you can always come in for a RDA, which is a request for determination of whether or not you need to file.
Okay.
So you can always start with an RDA and say, here's what I want to do. Is it minor enough that you'll let me do it without filing?
Oh, okay.
And so there's that first step if it's something minor. It depends on what you're going to do. I mean, if you're going to be, using herbicides, then probably we would say, yes, we do need you to file.
Yep. Cool. Thank you.
But please do consider, we do need more representation on the commission.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually lurking because of the last one because I'm actually the buyer for that. So it was my husband and I who found that they had not had the certificate of compliance done. So we were the ones that raised this.
Well, that's good, because it'll be like 10 more years. And be like, huh?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night.
Sign vouchers. Okay, so now you're gonna have to help me now on what we're signing here. I don't want to mess up when we sign something that we actually
Okay,
continued.
should
All
fine.
That whispering doesn't help when you're on television.
294
It's okay. Nobody even watches it.
Northwest Maine, Farino,
No.
66.
No.
Good job. Virtue Linden's a
You
no.
are sharp as a tack.
What happened to
Okay.
that?
136 Perry's a yes. Okay, so we're gonna start passing 136 Perry.
Whatever happened to two vouchers?
Not
We're
yet.
we're coming to them.
Oh,
Walnut Street, Lot 5.
Approved.
Oops. And, certificate of compliance for 103 Webster.
Yes.
Go.
71, yes.
71 Old Farm Road, certificate of compliance.
Got it.
And Maria's out buying stuff again. She must think it's Christmas. Some green covers, green steno covers for $14. And a calendar and a planner book.
Really? That's...
Every year, they keep doing
I'm
this
just-
New Year stuff.
Can't they
I
get them
don't
for
know.
free for someone?
I'm just surprised we have to
Say.
sign vouchers for this. It's like, doesn't that just fall under offer? Oh, go get yourself a notebook.
And talking to the town administrator today and talking about, I said, well, we steeping out and we might hire a consultant more. And he thought it would be to our best benefit that we actually vote to hire our Alan as our conservation consultant. Because we need to get his certificate of insurance, like we needed to do for the people who cut our fields, just for liability purposes, because he's going out and doing stuff on our behalf. So if we voted that he would be pretty much
On call.
on call for us. So
That's fine, yeah.
I said that we'd bring it up tonight and maybe vote on it. Do we all want to vote on it, to hire Alan as our conservation consultant?
As needed.
As needed.
that's
Yeah,
needed.
so moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we did that. And, let's see, minutes. And I did read them.
So this is coming out of our fund, right?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
our
why
budget.
Our budget or the
Well, what we get
conservation fund?
appropriated, no, no.
Oh, okay.
What we get appropriated from the town.
Well, I hope
Our
she's not using that
$1,000
for
or
other
something.
boards. All these planners and.
Was it a multi-subject notebook?
Chalk.
Oh
And
my
that
God.
calendar, I hope when she's looking at it on
Just
behalf of
corn cob.
ZBA, she hides it.
Just corn
So that's our
Right,
calendar.
she's got 4 different calendars.
I gotta sign all that.
Well, it's like we should split the cost,
She
right?
does, like, ZBA bought her
Rotating yours.
chair that was 15 years old. She had to have it replaced. And
Yeah.
they chipped in.
Oh.
They did out of their
Heck
budget
yeah.
to get her a chair, because she is their secretary.
Ergonomics, man.
Okay.
Gotta do that.
Okay,
So she's
interesting.
gotta, whereas the rest of the town can't afford to buy people new furniture, and
There's
she
chairs
asked
over
ZBA
there.
to buy her, well, I think those are old ones too.
Okay, can we finish up, guys?
Yeah, go for it.
We need minutes.
10-6, you were on top of that.
I haven't read it.
Oh, October 16th?
Yeah, well, they're sitting here. Let me see if I have an old copy. So, oh, wait.
I thought you were reading off of those.
No, I was reading off a different set. No, so I haven't gone through those.
October.
I haven't gone them. But I'm happy to.
You weren't here at one meeting.
Yeah, that's not the one. That's
That
November.
was November 13th.
And we just got 11:15.
Can we postpone the 16 and then I can read them?
Yeah.
Okay,
Why
so
not?
that's
We're not
hold
gonna rush.
for Brandy. And then the
I guess I
11:13
better
we
do
just
it.
got tonight.
So that's hold for all the rest of us.
Gotta bring that to the front.
And that is all I had.
Will you entertain a motion? Motion to adjourn?
Motion been made.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn at 9:22. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.